I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
We're exporting a whole lot of really bad and dangerous rhetoric, bad research, and unfortunately it's being picked up and amplified in other countries.
It's the same battle, Mr. Myers. We've been at it before. They want to addict these kids, this time to an e-cigarette, which has a chemical that's addictive. We know what it leads to. Sadly, it leads to tobacco addiction, disease, and death.
I'm going to get you addicted to nicotine. I have a customer for life. We have hundreds of cases nationwide where people have gotten sick or died using these devices.
Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes are poison.
They're not people giving up smoking. They're not people that ever smoked before. Most people that vape never smoked before. Just think if your kid was doing this and winds up with an IQ 10 or 15 points lower than he or she would have had for the rest of her life.
Most people who vape are current or former smokers. For the addicted adult smoker who switches, there's going to likely be a reduction in risk.
There's a tremendous push to bring about prohibition, to actually prohibit vaping. Whereas the evidence strongly suggests that actually, up to now, the most successful way of people stopping smoking cigarettes is vaping.
Yeah. When vaping increases, smoking decreases.
That's right.
When vaping is restricted, smoking increases.
We're worried that, in fact, a lot of members of the public still think that using an e-cigarette is as harmful as smoking a cigarette. So, I mean, I have said that it would be tragic if smokers didn't quit and carried on smoking because they hadn't tried an e-cigarette, because they were worried about the safety of an e-cigarette.
The most disheartening thing is still the anti-choice rhetoric, the desire to enforce this quit or die mentality and refuse to allow individuals to reduce their risk unless they're willing to give up everything.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
That tune, I really like that tune that I use. That's a new one. Hey, it's Friday, and if you didn't notice, I appear to be alone right now. Kevin had some family stuff, and he called me or texted me a while ago, and he said, I have to call off. I'm like, it's not like a job, dude. You know, you got shit to do. That's okay. We'll work it out. We may or may not have somebody to be my right hand or my left hand. But first, I wanted to thank, I see Bill was the first person in the chat room, and hello, Bill, and Tom and David and Rob is over in the YouTube room, and Leanna, the lovely Leanna, and Will Webb is here, and Bill. Oh, Bill's there, and yeah, Paul is here. Paul is in the chat room, and that crazy Aussie guy. But so yeah, today, like, I've been like doing a lot of like gardening at the house. We put in the house when we bought the house. It was completely landscaped, and they had everything done. And we've been here about 8 years, and there was some stuff I didn't like. And we had some birds of paradise. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with birds of paradise. If you don't live in a tropical part of the world, you may not be able to grow them, but these damn things are pervasive and they spread. So as they get taller, they get further and further and further like this. So I actually paid somebody to come and rip them up out of the ground and dig up all the roots and do all that stuff. And the actual beds, the flower beds, they had these river rocks, like big, huge river rocks of various sizes that I didn't like. So the wife did most of the work, went through and one whole side of the house's flower bed and picked all of the rocks. We had like 10 garden carts full of these stones, and we relocated them to the flower beds in the back because we couldn't just get rid of them. Nobody wanted them. So she did all that, and she used some of those rocks, and the flower beds on this side of the house still have the rocks, but we've been working on this for about a month, and we're on the final stretch. You know, we bought a bunch of bulbs and stuff, you know, flowers, tulips, and all that stuff. And it's going to be amazing when they all come up. But we put mulch down. But today, when I was going to work, she's off today. She says to me, when you go to work, wake me up and I'll go finish the flower bed over here. So, okay, fine. So, went to work. I woke her up, went to work, and it was 47 degrees here this morning. South Texas, 47 degrees is a little bit colder than normal. So she says no. So I went to work, and I have the company I work for. I see patients in 4 different locations, and our downtown location is actually 2 buildings. We have one sky rise. It's like 18 stories tall. And we have another healthcare facility that's 4 or 5 stories tall. Well, I was walking across the street at about 11:30 to run and go see a patient before lunch. And my phone rings, and it's the wife. So I answer it while I'm walking across the street, and she says, "There's a snake." And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm here. I can't do anything about it. She's like, well, can I spray it with bug spray? Will that kill it? And I'm like, no, it's a snake. Bug spray is not going to kill a snake unless you like pour a lot of it on there. I don't know. I said, you're going to have to hit it with a shovel or something. So I hung up the phone and I kept going, or she hung up the phone on me, and I kept going. And then I got to the other side of the street, and I'm like, oh, you know, she's afraid of snakes, I'm sure. So I texted her, take a picture of the snake, and I got no response. About 20 minutes later, I called her. I said, hey, you know, I'm just calling, got her voicemail. I'm just calling to find out how the snake situation went. No response. Starting to get a little worried because I'm thinking she tried to bash the snake lunged at her or something. She fell down and hurt herself. I was a little worried. About 2 hours later, she sends me a text, and she says, I already killed it. It's gone. And she sent a picture of it, and it was poor thing was just chopped up. She said, can you tell me what kind of snake this was? And I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, this is a king snake. Kind of upset now because king snakes are very beneficial. They eat other snakes and rodents and stuff. And in the picture, the snake looks huge. So anyway, we get home and I look at the snake, and the poor thing's only about this big. I felt kind of bad, but anyway, the snake's dead. I was worried. Yeah. Everything worked out fine, but the poor snake is dead. And I would have, obviously if I was at home, I wouldn't have killed it. I would have moved it because it was, king snake, and they kill the bad snakes. But yeah, I see, all you guys are complaining that, but it was funny to me. It was, by the end of it, it was just the fact that it was this little king snake. It was literally like this big. It's a tiny thing. But yeah, she was freaking out over that poor little snake. But anyway, that's done and over with now. But anyway, I got the mulch down. I'm going to take pictures to show you guys how awesome a gardener I am. But on to the vaping stuff, on to the real stuff. Yeah. Snakes are protected species in Australia. Yeah. And there's a lot of snakes in Australia that are probably shouldn't be protected. Those what are they called, the red bellies or whatever. Those things are, pretty vicious, pretty poisonous from what I understand. But y'all also have spiders big enough to eat birds over there too. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But I know you guys are worried because the cover art had 2 pictures of me. So you're going to get the good side and the bad side. But I did reach out to somebody to play my wingman because I really need somebody to be Abbott to my Costello, or Laurel to my Hardy. So, anywho, let's bring Paul. Paul's in the chat room, but Paul is also here with me. Aloha, young man. Hello.
Crikey, that's not a snake. Fucking wait, a foot long snake, and you're telling me that this thing's a snake? That's a lizard.
I mean, to be clear, I mean, my wife is from a tropical island where most of the snakes are also very venomous. Maybe not on the same level of deadly number of species as Australia, but yeah, I mean they so they're always worried about snakes too. So, but yeah, I mean I'm a hillbilly redneck dude. I'm not afraid of no snakes. I am scared shitless of spiders though.
Really?
I am horribly frightened of spiders.
Arachnophobe.
I actually, you will see a 260-pound guy jump up, bad leg and all, and run squealing like a little girl because of a fucking granddaddy long legs, which is
squealing with yelling at your wife, "Get the spray, get the spray."
Or
is that what's going to happen?
Get your shoe. I mean, I'll freely admit it. I'm as long as I can get an eye on the snake, and I know I'm quite familiar with the ones that grow or live around here that are indigenous to the places that I've lived. Yeah, I'm not afraid of them. If I can eyeball them and I know which ones they are, I know how to handle snakes. But spiders, nope. Anything with more than 4 legs is evil. So that includes octopuses and spiders, and even squids. They got 8 legs, dude.
Squidlies. Oh, but squid is so good with chili and garlic.
Nah, they're too gummy. I don't like the texture. I don't like the texture of them. Nope.
Oh,
nope.
It's not even funny.
Nope.
And octopus is really good too. Obviously, you didn't spend enough time eating octopus in Japan.
Dude, I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it really quick. In Japan, there's a whole bunch of restaurants. They're sushi restaurants, and they have like I don't want to say lazy Susans, but they have like basically conveyor belts that run around the restaurant, and they put each dish. You don't order anything. You just sit at the booth, and as plates roll by on the conveyor belt, you just grab the one you want, or as many of them as you want. When you check out, each plate that's a different colors, that's how they price them based on the color of the plate. So I'm sitting at one of these restaurants with some friends. We're eating sushi, and this older Japanese dude comes in, and he sits at the booth behind our booth, and he's like looking straight at me, and I'm looking straight at him, and this fishbowl goes by on the conveyor belt, and inside of the fishbowl is a baby octopus.
Yeah.
And it's still alive.
Yep.
Swimming around in the fishbowl. So the dude reaches over and grabs the fishbowl, and he puts it in front of him, and then he makes eye contact at me and grins. So takes the little glass lid off of the thing, and he reaches in with his chopsticks and grabs it by the back of the head or the and pulls it out. And as he's pulling it out, he's got his hands like this around the thing, so that as he's lifting it, he's grabbing the tentacles in his hand down here and the head up here. Then he gets to a point where he's got it all, and he puts the head in his mouth and starts chewing.
Yep.
And the tentacles immediately, because the poor animal is still alive, the tentacles start wrapping around, because they start pulling out of his hand. Obviously, they're slippery and wet and stuff. And they start grabbing him around his face as he's chewing the head. And he starts to peel them off and hold them out. And then he eats the whole damn thing, finally gets it all down his gullet. And he looks at me and he goes, like, he gives me this shit-eating grin, because he knows that the white guy is gonna freak out about eating live octopus.
That'd be me. I'd do
Right.
shit like that. Yeah, I'd do shit like that. Same as drunken prawns, like live
Well,
prawns.
they call that in the Philippines, where my wife's dad he does that. They call that jumping salad.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And he says
That
to me,
is- that
he says to me,
badass.
"Do you eat jumping salad?" And I'm like, "What the hell is jumping salad?" And now these are not prawns. These are not prawn. You know, prawns are huge. These are little shrimp. They're like this.
Yeah.
And he has a bowl, and he has a bowl on top, and he takes the bowl off the top, and they're in there skipping around. He grabs one, in alive, chitin and all, like doesn't even peel them, just, and that's gross. That's also gross.
No.
The skin or the chitin of the shrimp, we don't eat that. That's gross.
Yeah. All right. Point
It might be full of calcium and other wonderful minerals and shit, but nope. But I eat the skin of potatoes. That's as dangerous as I'll get. Is eating the skin off of the potatoes. But anyway,
All right.
What's been going on with you other than Australia being all like fucked up?
Oh, well, it is fucked up to a point, but, you know, ATHRA and legalized vaping actually had a bit of a win. Greg Hunt obviously has stepped back again and postponed the nicotine import ban indefinitely now because Professor Skerritt came out in the review committee on the panel and said, well, vaping is actually safer than cigarettes. And I couldn't believe it. I nearly spat coffee everywhere. I just went, you just said that?
Don't do that while you're sitting at your computer. Spitting coffee all over your computer would be bad.
Well, yeah, true. But look, the war's not over here.
No.
I've been reading a lot of studies. We're still looking for more signatures from around the world and people telling their stories and business owners. Over the weekend, I know that we only have another, another 7 days actually from today. So until next Friday, we can get submissions into the committee.
Well, I sent my submission. It was only like 15 pages.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Seriously, you sent 15 in?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I did.
I can't wait to see some of the submissions. Actually,
I did include sections from studies and stuff. I know that you're not really meant to do that, and I did send them links to the actual full text of the studies, and then I talked about obviously harm reduction and being an advocate here in the States and so forth and so on. So, and I did invite them to listen to the show. Just in case.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking of downloading all the shows and then re-uploading them onto my YouTube page and then sending that as part of my submission. I've put in one submission, but
you can just link them. You can link them to my YouTube. There's nothing else on there but these shows.
Well, that'd be good because some of the shows when we've called people naughty words.
All of the shows. I don't believe that I don't believe there's a time that I've referenced Greg Hunt without calling him something else.
No, that's true.
See, I had to stop.
I'm the same.
Well, Bill has a good idea. Link them to the Smoker Show. Yeah. Those are way more professional than my show.
Correct.
And obviously they don't attack and call people cunt all the time.
No. I'm trying to be a good boy. Normally I swear like a trooper, but I'm being a good boy for a minute.
Just 1 minute? Just 1 minute?
When I open a beer, that's when it starts.
A beer? What time is it there? Is it noon?
No, it's
No, it's like
1:20.
11.
It's 1:20 p.m. We're in the future. Remember?
Well,
We're in the
well,
future.
we're
So
actually
it's beer o'clock.
here in America. We're gonna gain an hour tomorrow night. So tomorrow is actually 25 hours.
No,
because we have a daylight savings time, the end of daylight savings time tomorrow. So we go back to regular time, which I think is ridiculous. It really fucks up my internal clock. But I get an extra hour sleep.
if it goes forward an hour, you lose an hour.
In spring, we set the clocks ahead an hour, and we lose an hour, and then in the fall we get that hour back.
Okay, point taken.
So yeah, we're going to set the clocks back an hour tomorrow night, but in the spring we have to set the clocks ahead an hour, so we get it back.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've got like a background in chemistry. You're a mixer. You know things about chemicals and stuff and different things like that. So this week, and I sent all of these fucking links to Kevin, so Kevin would be ready to go tonight. And then 2 hours before the show, he texts me and says he can't be here. So you may have seen some of these if you were doing Google searches on your own, but some of these, we're going to go through some articles here. This is what we used to do on my show when it was audio only. I would read articles, and now that we have the video capability, obviously this is a little bit better so that you guys can see. But Forbes published an article, we'll call it an article, that I think is kind of fun. And this is something that I've talked about multiple times in this show, about adding things to vaping that have nothing to do with tobacco harm reduction. And I'm not a big fan of, just because there's no science behind any of this shit. When people start throwing things and I'm not talking about CBD, but vitamins, we're gonna deliver vitamins in a vape, or we're gonna there's a company that's been around for years. It was called VitaVape, and I don't know if they're still around or not, but they infused their liquids with vitamins and minerals and all sorts of stuff, and they were making pretty far out there health claims. They had a male enhancement vape and all, so I'm not joking. This exists, or existed. I don't know if it still does or not, but so this is the article from Forbes, and it says a new approach to wellness, a case study with Love Labs, LUVV Labs. And this is from Shema Hyder. She is a senior contributor in the entrepreneurs department of Forbes. So it says here, Shema Hyder is CEO of Zen Media, which turns brand moments into momentum, a best-selling author and internationally renowned keynote speaker. So that leads me to believe that Love Labs has hired Shema Hyder to promote, and since she's also on staff with Forbes, that gives her a pretty big footprint to do brand promotion, right?
Yeah.
So this is Micah J. Harper, and he's one of the many entrepreneurs bringing new, innovative wellness products to to the market. So anyway, there's an ad. So it says here, with the countless challenges and upheavals that we've all experienced in 2020, one positive development we're seeing is an increased emphasis on health and wellness. And in a time when powerful stress relief is shifting from nice to have to must have for so many of us, wellness and health companies are stepping up with new innovative products. One of these is the wellness tech company Love Labs, a company that's developed nutraceuticals for consumption via vaporizer. All their products are designed to improve emotional well-being and impact body positivity. So I'm going to stop for a second. Anybody that's been around for more than a while, and I'm not talking about just vaping stuff, but if you've paid attention to the world at large, FDA cracked down in the 1980s on the nutraceutical industry and crushed them. And we're talking about a $200 or $300 billion industry. Companies like what the hell was the name of that company? They're still around, but it's like a pyramid company where you buy a subscription to this company and you sell their products, and then you can sucker your friends into Herbalife. That's what it's called, Herbalife. Herbalife went from being like a multi-billion-dollar company to like a $500,000 company overnight because of FDA, and they're just now sort of climbing out of their shit. Not Amway, by the way, Broomy, but very much in the same style of Amway. Amway also has a big chunk of the vitamin market. They sell tons of vitamin products. But anyway, the products, each in the form of a separate supplement inhaler, have names like Zen, Glow, Calm, and Thrive, and are a mix of vitamins, nutrients, herbal supplements, and essential oils. I want you guys to hear that word, essential oils. They also have a line of nasal aromatherapy inhalers, which consists of blends of essential oils. Essential oils. Paul, did you hear the word essential oils? I want you to keep that in your mind. I spoke with founder.
That's why I just opened a beer. I saw that in the comment, and I right. No,
I spoke with founder Micah J. Harper about how he's developing Love, as well as how his brand is retooling a concept, vaping, that's most recently been associated more with nicotine and THC than health. Okay, so I got to pause this for a minute here. I'm gonna drop this off the screen so Paul and I can be big and front and center here. WTF with the fucking essential oils. Paul, what happens when you vaporize essential oils and inhale them into your lungs?
Depending on the ignition temperature, they'll reform back into the oil within your lungs.
And then you get what's called
lipoid pneumonia.
Holy shit. A health company.
Yeah, we've got a problem here.
Who apparently doesn't realize that inhaling essential oils, bad. We just had a whole E-Valley scare, or whatever the fuck you want to call it now, that is basically caused by the inhalation of oils. Not essential oils in this case, but
vitamin E acetate. Yeah.
Vitamin E acetate, which many companies were using. What's the oil?
Agent.
Yeah, but they were using an oil. Was it coconut oil or something that essentially is designed for skincare?
Oh, MCT.
Yes, MCT, and putting it into a fucking inhaler. Yeah. So be on the lookout. Everybody mark the day. It's Halloween 2020. If this were to go wide, if this gets legs and this product gets national distribution, within 3 months we're gonna have a fucking nether vaping lung injury scare, because it's the same bullshit.
Actually, this could be a lot worse.
Well, like I said, depending on how distribution works, depending on how far they get distributed.
No. It actually depends on the essential oil itself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, if they're using something like a cinnamon essential oil,
cinnamaldehyde, yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking bad. Fucking bad.
Here we go. This is it. You know, they go after flavoring companies, right? And the flavorings now, these days, are safer than what they are 5 years ago. Much, much safer. All the nasty shit's been taken out. And now these monkeys are coming back with the products that is you know,
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
I'm sure that there's a way to, you know, to extract and use something other than essential oils, right? There's got to be a way to do that. Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it depends on the suspension also.
Yeah.
You know, you can do extractions and then do a suspension in, you know, propylene glycol, 1,2-PDO, 1,3-PDO, PEG 400. There's numerous things, but again, you're still gonna have problems. And the flavor, I could just imagine the flavor in these things. Oh my god! Whoa.
Well, I mean, all of those essential oils would also, depending on, like, if they use tea tree oil or something like that.
No.
That's not good, like at all. But anyway, let's throw this back on screen because there's more. Wait, there's more. So Shayma Hyder, she says here, why did you decide to launch your products now? So this guy, Micah J. Harper, that's the founder of this company, says September 9th of this year marked an important date for tobacco and vaping companies. It was the deadline for the FDA required PMTA, or pre-market tobacco application, to be submitted. This consists of an extensive and expensive amount of requirements and research to be done for the product to pass health regulations, including a list of ingredients, samples, labels, scientific analysis, principles of operations, and chances for misuse.
They've missed a few things there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, with each PMTA costing anywhere from $117,000 to $446,000 per product, many e-cigarette companies will be forced to cease production and close their doors. This has created a demand for nicotine-free alternatives and a unique opportunity for nutraceutical companies like ours. Our American-made nutraceuticals address common needs like healthy weight loss, immune system support, and our Love Air product line enables users to inhale beneficial ingredients through a water-soluble vapor. So if it's water-soluble and he's using essential oils, it's not fucking water-soluble.
No, not at all.
So this has created demand for nicotine-free alternatives, blah, 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 blah. So he's making a health claim right here.
Yeah,
healthy weight loss and immune system support.
Impossible.
Healthy weight loss and immune system support are both health claims. Doesn't matter if you're a tobacco product and you make health claims. If you sell any product in the United States and you make untested or unproven health claims and unapproved, and you market your products as a treatment method, you're breaking the fucking law, dumbass. So anyway, she continues.
100%.
She continues here. Considering the association of vaping with nicotine and marijuana, have you had any challenges in explaining to customers that these inhalers are health products? Health products right there. How do you break that initial negative association? So then it says here, the use of vapor inhalation technology has actually been tested and used for decades to deliver beneficial ingredients through vapor. It's only been recently that the e-cig industry has used it for nicotine inhalation products, resulting in the growing number of nicotine addiction and negative connotation around the idea of vaping. To help counter that, we've embraced a high level of transparency in order to earn customers' trust, to ensure our products are free of THC or nicotine or any other toxins or additives. Previous solutions are notorious for containing millions of additives. Millions.
What?
Millions of additives.
Really?
Most of which users have no clue about, and almost every vape product contains ingredients associated with addictive consumption, which ours do not.
Okay.
We encourage our customers. Let me finish.
Let's do a comparison in a sec. Yeah, we're going to do a comparison.
We encourage our customers to read our labels, which contain every single ingredient, and get educated on what they are putting into their bodies. So while we're not the first company to come up with this technology or concept, we are unique in the level of transparency we offer, as well as in that we endorse vegan-friendly, non-GMO, and cruelty-free production.
Oh, shit. Right, drink.
Oh, and the next bit is even funnier. Yeah, boys and girls. Again, I'm going to go full screen on this, or at least I'm going to drop this off so that you can see how serious I am. Don't fucking inhale essential oils. Period. This guy believes that we didn't invent the technology. We did. The technology that we use, the version that we use, we invent.
Right. Yeah.
Now, obviously, there were vaporizers before that. There were pot vaporizers before there were vape vaporizers.
Correct.
There were heat not burn versions of vaporizers that marijuana users used before our product was on the market. Some of our products were made in China, and those same companies developed our products out of those old technologies. The 510 connection and those things were not created for us specifically. Yeah, this is a fucking. I mean, if this were to get wide, if these products were to get wide distribution, if they were able to get into pharmacies or like the GNC, because that's a nutraceutical outlet, or and I've seen CBD products moving into the GNCs now, which is also kind of scary. If they get into those chain stores, and they start widely selling these products, we are the ones nicotine vaping. Obviously, what did he use? The word addictive. With millions of additives, our products are going to be the ones that get blamed for any harms that these types of products. Not only this one. Bill has sent me a link to another company that I was aware of that's also selling these sorts of hippie, like herbal remedy vaporizers. And there's, like I said, there was another one called Vita Vape, and Bill's was another one called.
There was a number of them there at one stage.
Monk, monq.com is also another one. He sent me. Listen to this. So he actually sent me a quote from their website. Essential oils are healthier, cleaner, and provide you a sense of well-being that vaping does not.
Excuse me?
Yeah. And then he sent me another quote. It says, a new alternative to vaping, ? The method some doctors are even recommending as a replacement. If a fucking doctor were going to suggest or promote this product to me, I would fucking go off and obviously try to educate him, but I would also be turning his ass into the local health department and the fucking AMA, because essential oils, bad.
Well, okay. Well, they're
really good. They're really good in this diffuser thing that my wife has on the counter. You put water in it, you drop the oil in there, and it makes
Sure. Yeah. But here's my problem. They said that there's millions of chemicals in.
No, they said millions of additives.
Well, there aren't millions of additives in our products. No. Okay.
If you got every flavor company on the market and put their entire catalog and just numbered them, every flavor company in the world, there's not a fucking million flavors. There's not a million products of flavors.
No, but I did something the other day just for shits and giggles. When I sat there and I broke down one of the most complex liquids, which had 22 flavors in it. Right? 22 flavors, all up, it had 600 compounds to make those 22 flavors.
Yeah.
In comparison to a cigarette that's got 7,000, we're not even in the triple figures yet. And that's one of the most complex recipes on the planet, right?
Well, and now that also doesn't take into account what happens when you vaporize it, though.
Correct.
That's just the raw product. So yeah.
Yeah. But what they're trying to say,
there's still not going to be a million compounds generated when you vaporize it, though. It's not going to happen. I mean,
millions. Okay.
I mean, that is exponentially wrong. Exponentially wrong. But I mean, these are the types of stories that the mass. I mean, Forbes. This is Forbes.
Yeah, it doesn't look that gets me because Steve Forbes came out in,
right.
And
So
now whoever this person is on staff at Forbes, hey Steve, if you're listening, can you just slap her around the head a few times because this is wrong.
Okay, so wait. So it says here, how do you think the unexpected events of this year have affected your marketing? So he responds, this year, we've really seen the taboo around talking about mental health and anxiety dissolve. The need to address this problem is reflected in consumer demands and behavior. And obviously, I am positive that people being locked down and being forced to stay at home has really affected people's mental health. I do not deny that. I mean, obviously, it's something even fucking Donald Trump has, took the point to say, one of the reasons why we didn't want to do the lockdowns was because he was even aware that it was going to affect people. And he said, look, the suicide numbers are going to go up. You watch. So, and I'm not fucking agreeing with the fucking Cheeto in chief. I'm just saying, even he was aware that this would be a potential problem. So during the global pandemic, our most popular product has been the Love Air Zen, a relaxing lavender flavored inhaler that contains chamomile.
Fuck. Here we go.
Wait. Valerian root
and
passion flower. Customers keep saying how significantly it helps in reducing stress and anxiety. While this year's events may have given specific love products a boost, we've always been confident in our line because we bet on extensive research, funded science, and dedicated product development team. We're also working with, now this is the part here, you guys do your fucking research. Noctum Group and RH Capital are both huge fucking investment companies in an effort to expand globally to meet greater customer demand. As Harper's Company and countless other health and wellness startups are demonstrating, the wellness industry is seeing major growth this year, and that growth is expected to continue. After all, our consumers start paying more attention to their health and mental wellness. It's highly unlikely that they'll reverse course. Love and others in the industry will be ones to watch for the foreseeable future. So, Noctum and RH Capital.
Yeah, hedge funds.
Yeah. And they're not small. They're not small.
They're huge. Isn't one of them based out of New York?
Mm-hmm.
From memory? Because Noctum came up in something else that we were looking at a while back.
Yeah.
Oh, don't tell me that. Oh, fuck you. Right, drink.
I don't think I need to remind people that there was, or we talked about the V. What is it called again? What was it? It starts with a V.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Bloom turds. Fucking.
Yeah, the veil, right? Noctum is one of the other investment groups beside the Village on the Veil.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That was the same hedge fund that was also involved in that.
That's one of them. That's one of like 8 different ones.
Oh, okay, here we go. All right, people, get your hammers out. Where's Cherry? We need her sledgehammer for this one.
So yeah, people need to pay attention to shit like that because not to put, I don't have to have the tinfoil hat on, and obviously you see I'm not even wearing a hat tonight. Normally I wear a hat. This is not good. Like, obviously that product is scary bad. Like, they market it with the word essential oils because people think that essential oils are good. And when used appropriately, they're fine, but not as an inhalation product.
As soon as there's 2 there that remind me of another product that was floating around a couple of years back. I'll think of the name in a minute, but why the hell chamomile?
Yeah.
Okay, instead of smoking weed or vaping a THC extract, now we've got people wanting to vape chamomile, and what was the other one? There was the other
Valerian root.
Yeah, no, valerian. That's another one, and the third flavor.
Well, it's not a flavor, but
the flower. The flower.
Yeah. I'd already closed that window. Let's see. Lavender.
That's
so
it. Lavender.
Lavender. Chamomile.
Yeah, that's it, lavender.
Valerian root and passion flower.
Passion flower. That's it. Now, hang on. I remember who it is now that had almost that exact same recipe. It was a company a couple of years back called Alterna. It was an alternative.
No. Don't bring that piece of shit up.
Right. Well, it's the same. That is the same recipe, almost to a T, that they brought out.
Well, I mean, they're still marketing that. I still get emails from that piece of shit, and he's still marketing that it's FDA approved and that it doesn't. It's not. They don't. Obviously, they don't have to. Since it's not a tobacco product and there's no nicotine in it, obviously they don't have to submit a PMTA on it. But the moment, like, you're making treatment claims, you're making
correct.
You're making those health claims. You obviously need to go through the pharmaceutical pathway if you're making health claims and treatment claims.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, there's no fucking back door. There's no loophole that you can jump through. The moment you make a treatment or a health claim, you just fucked up, because if it's in your marketing, if you say this helps you quit smoking, that's a health claim. That's a treatment claim. You fall under the FDA's drug pathway.
Yeah.
And if you think the PMTA is an insurmountable task, the drug pathway is Everest to the PMTA's Mount St. Helens, or whatever, Mount Hood, or at some other fairly large but not Everest-sized mountain. I mean, fucking the pathway for drugs is ridiculous. I mean, and it's a 10-year process at minimum.
This is an absolute time bomb, and Forbes has picked up on this
and knocked him in RH Group or RH Capital.
Actually, this is worse than a time bomb when you think about it, because how the hell is this even going to fly? And they're trying to bypass the PMTA process completely?
Well, yeah, because there's no nicotine in it. They don't have to go through it. They don't have to go through the PM. It's not a tobacco product. It's not encompassed in the tobacco, into the tobacco definition. If their technology of delivery is different than an e-cigarette, if it's proprietary, they can say this is not meant for nicotine, and they can say, well, this is not an e-cigarette. But what does happen, though, is the moment you make health claims, the moment you say that this affects the human body in a beneficial way, then you are making a fucking health claim, and that product has to go through the pharmaceutical pathway. This is what this is the battle. This is why nutraceuticals can no longer say on the side of the bottle, this reduces your cholesterol, or this is good for your hypertension, or anything that's specific. They can say something like, this is good for cardiac health. They can make a very vague claim like that. But the moment they make specific comments, and I mean, this is talking about affecting your mental health.
Oh, this is going to give me mental health with this product.
Yeah. And this was just Article 1, Paul.
How many have you got? I might need to go to the fridge.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more.
Oh, shit. Yeah, all right. How many beers have I got?
I got a bottle
more.
right here.
Yeah, I know. I've got 4 more beers with me. All right.
Okay. All right. So, did you know?
Oh, here we go.
Did you know that young people are 5 times more likely to catch COVID if they vape?
Oh, right. I need a sign like fucking Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin messed up and disappeared, so you don't get to hold the drink sign up. I
need another sign.
This is, you can obviously see I'm a nerd because all of the advertisements are like nerd stuff. So it says here, young people 5 times more likely to catch COVID if they vape, study says. And this is from New York State. This is the Democrat and Chronicle. This is the governor or the mayor of that little town that this is in, addressing the surging gun violence, which has nothing to do with this article. So it says, story highlights the study surveyed over 4,000 young people about their vaping habits and whether they've been diagnosed with COVID-19 or had symptoms. Among the findings, young people between ages 13 and 24. Did you just sneeze?
Yeah.
Where's my fucking mask? He's got the COVID.
Yeah.
Young people between 13 and 24 who vape were 5 times more likely to get a COVID-19 diagnosis than non-vaping young people. Vaping, this is the third bullet point. Here it is right here. Vaping increases the chances of COVID-19 through damage done to the lungs and increased touching of the face.
An increased touching of the face. Right.
Yeah. So I guess people that vape are more likely to touch their face. I don't know how vaping has anything to do with touching of the face.
How do I look? Here's a device.
Now, I mean, obviously, the mouthpiece is touching your lips, but so anyway, let's just look at this. So it says young people who vape are at least 5 times more likely to receive a COVID-19 diagnosis compared to their non-vaping counterparts, according to an August study that surveyed over 4,000 U.S. residents. E-cigarettes have exploded in popularity among teenagers and young adults in recent years, sparking concerns over increased nicotine use and lung damage. Vaping juice, in quotes, I hate that fucking word, people. Anyway, used in e-cigarettes comes in both nicotine-free and nicotine options. While e-cigarette use declined in 2020 compared to last year, about 3.6 million young people reported current e-cigarette use in September, according to the National Youth Tobacco Use Survey. The ongoing e-cigarette epidemic among U.S. youth contributed to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic nationally, the study published in the Journal of Adolescent Health concluded. Out of 4,351 people surveyed in May, ages 13 to 24, e-cigarette users were 5 times more likely to be infected with COVID-19, while those who used both e-cigarettes and cigarettes in the last 30 days were almost 7 times more likely to be infected. And then there's a picture of a bunch of jewels and this is like this I think is like a Von Earl maybe, and this is like maybe some sort of Sauron product or whatever. But anyway, heightened exposure to nicotine and other chemicals affects lung function, and smoking or vaping involves the user touching his or her face frequently, increasing the chances of COVID-19 infection. The study noted smokers and e-cigarette users may cough more frequently or share vaping devices or cigarettes, increasing the chance of COVID-19 transmission if they are already infected. Okay, so, all right, we got to stop this for a second. All right, I'm going to do an informal poll. There's there's a bunch of people in the chat room. So anyone in the chat room here, could you please put ×1 if you share your device, and ×2 if when you were a smoker you shared cigarettes. So I'm asking for two things. ×1 first if you share your device with other people.
Only in the bedroom.
Well, I'm not. See, I ask them to do something. I'm gonna see. I don't know how long if there's a delay between my ask and actually action. I think they're fucking ignoring me, Paul. I really do. I ask a simple thing, and they won't even fucking put a ×1. So Tom is being a smart ass and put ×0. So I'm assuming that means he didn't share either.
Yeah, correct.
I asked for a specific response ×1. So it was easy for me to track, and Bill types a whole fucking sentence. No sharing device, did share cigarettes back in the day. Victor says no. Nikki says no.
David Moyle, no.
Shannon is laughing.
Yep. Oh, it's my comment, yeah. Don't worry.
Fig says he shares everything. No wonder he's fucking sick all the time. Michael says no. Paul said it, or my best friend rarely. Okay. So by and large, most of the responses are no, I don't share my shit. So I'm not a good example because I fucking OCD. I would, even when I was a cigarette smoker, I would never share a fucking cigarette. Period. I don't care if you were my best friend or not. Nope. And there's no fucking way in hell, because if you've ever used a metal drip tip, like a stainless steel drip tip, you will notice over a day of use the lip gunk that collects on the stainless steel drip tips.
Oh.
And obviously there's no fucking way. So anybody with a brain cell would never fucking do that if they've ever, because it's gross. I mean, obviously I wipe mine off constantly, so it's pretty this is not stainless steel, but it's pretty clean. But I still would never fucking share it ever. So I immediately call shit on this fucking study. But anyway, let's continue. It says here, yeah. Our findings from a national sample of adolescents and young adults show that e-cigarette use and dual use of e-cigarettes and cigarettes are significantly underlying risk factors for COVID-19 that has previously not been shown, the study read. So for one thing, this is like the 800th study that I've seen in the last year that says that vaping causes COVID-19. So he just claimed that no other study has proven this. We've seen debunked studies all over this fucking pandemic. And we've torn them apart. Brad Rodu's torn a couple of them apart. Dr. Farsalinos has torn a few of them apart. So, yeah, inhaling nicotine. Yeah, did I read it? Oh, no. Inhaling nicotine and other chemicals into the body regularly brings irritants into the lungs, which leads to inflammation, scarring, and in some cases, permanent damage to the respiratory system, which doesn't bode well with COVID-19, says Dr. Gregory Carnival. That's his name, Carnevale. So it's either Carnival or Carnivale, Chief Medical Officer and Vice President of Medical Affairs, Medicare and Retail Markets for Exelis Blue Cross Blue Shield. So this guy, okay, so I gotta remove this. So you do realize in America, I don't know what they do in Australia, but in America, if you are a smoker,
yes,
and you have a insurance policy, they charge you a tobacco premium.
Correct.
Which is for us, it's like $25 extra per paycheck that they take out of our pay.
It's not per paycheck here because
no, you don't have the same kind of health system that we do, but
no, but
we pay more.
We also have privatized like health system where you pay into a private health fund, and yes, if you are a smoker, not a problem. And a couple of the companies now here in Australia are actually looking for people that were ex-smokers that have switched to vaping, and they're still charging you that premium.
Yeah. Well, they still do that here.
Right.
They just changed it. They just changed it from tobacco use to nicotine use. So when you do your insurance, they ask you, "Are you a smoker?" And if you say yes, then they're gonna fucking charge you a $25 premium in addition to your normal insurance to offset the expense of treating your fucking horrible, lungs. Because I'm not gonna lie, that's the only thing I ever used my insurance for when I was a smoker. Was once a year I would get bronchitis and have to go get breathing treatments, and they would give me an inhaler and send me on my way. And the insurance does pay for that. Obviously I pay a copay or whatever, but I have not done that, not once, since I quit smoking and started vaping.
Right.
So,
but
Blue Cross Blue Shield,
yeah.
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Oh, yeah.
Now you get where I'm going with this. Blue Cross Blue Shield don't want you to be vaping because then eventually you're going to not be a smoker. And eventually a good portion of people may even become non-nicotine users.
Correct.
So they want that fucking $25 tobacco premium as long as they can possibly get it. And if they steer you away from a tobacco harm reduction product and you are one of those people that want to get on the program and get eventually off of nicotine. I mean, I'm not one of those people, but there are people that want to eventually get off of nicotine. Then they no longer get that $25 per paycheck nicotine premium.
Mm-hmm.
So, they have the head of fucking Blue Cross Blue Shield in this bitching about vaping, and vaping causes COVID. So keep smoking because we don't want you to get COVID. Because obviously smoking is bad for your lungs, and it may be one of the things that causes you to have a worse version of COVID.
Right.
But this story is not about that. It is, but it's not in the headline. It's buried in the body of the thing. The focus of this article is about vaping, even though they throw the word smoking or cigarette and e-cigarette or e-cigarette and cigarette a couple times, right?
Correct.
So, yeah. So let's finish this one up. So it says, when you think about COVID and its ability to attack the body, this particular study shows that it is more likely to be individuals that have a weakened immune system due to what they're doing to themselves, which in this case, that's vaping, Carnival said. Teens may be even more likely to use products since COVID-19 due to heightened anxiety and stress levels and perhaps more time spent alone and unsupervised while in their homes working on remote learning, he added. I don't think there's any doubt that people know this is harmful, but we have also, we have so much going on in our lives regarding today's society's changes around COVID, and we don't want to lose focus on that, on what is preventable, said Carnival. The study authors recommended that healthcare providers and schools prioritize asking young patients and students about e-cigarette use and educating them about vaping's damaging effects. They also urged the FDA to be more effectively. They also urged the Food and Drug Administration to more effectively regulate e-cigarette use during COVID-19. So this is one of the, I've been rather critical and negative and maybe a little doomsday-y about the FDA and about their selective enforcement discretion when it comes to things like premium cigars.
Right.
They on their own, before the judge stepped in, were willing to work with the FDA, or were willing to work with the premium cigar industry, for example. And the FDA asked the Justice Department to intervene and go to the judge and say, please, judge, give FDA permission to be lenient on the premium cigar industry they've also stated that they're going to spend millions and millions and millions of taxpayer dollars on the science that the premium cigar industry will use in their PMTAs if you delay the PMTA for them. I mean, that's essentially what they did. That's essentially what the Justice Department did at the request of FDA. So when initially, now you remember when the deadline was changed to 2022, and all the body parts people sued the FDA and said, you have to change it back, right? And the judge asked FDA during that lawsuit, during the arguments for that case, how much time do you need?
I remember that.
How much time do you need to properly get the PMTA established?
Yep.
And FDA said 90 days, right? I mean, that's they didn't ask for more than a very small amount of time. If FDA wanted to, they could have said we need at least a year. But they didn't.
No.
They didn't. And the judge gave them what they asked for. And that's what pushed the original deeming back, or the original PMTA deadline back to May. You remember it was May? And then the COVID happened, and then the judge pushed it back 3 more months, right? So
they kept moving the date there for a minute.
Well, I mean, the judge moved it to a specific day in May, and then FDA requested a slight extension because of COVID.
Yep.
But so instead of getting a full year, they could have, like I said, they could have asked the judge and said, Judge, realistically, we need 2 years, or we need a year. So instead of 2022, it would have been 2021. But no. They said, we only need 90 days. And then as 90 days was getting closer, they said, well, COVID, give us 3 more months. So we got a half a year when we could have had a year.
Correct.
But no. The premium cigar people, those guys are lovable, small and mom and pop businesses that are owned by like huge tobacco companies. General Cigar is a fucking huge company, and they own about 60% of the premium cigar space. And what's the European cigar company?
Which one? Davidoff.
Davidoff owns the other 40%.
Yeah, Davidoff's huge.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not shitting on premium cigars because everybody fucking knows I love cigars. Yep. But to describe them as small mom and pop operations when they're really not small mom and pop operations.
Once upon a time they were.
Once upon a time, but that's been 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, no. There was a lot of premium, handmade cigar manufacturers once upon a time. But
they're still, I mean, even though they're like, Padilla and Fuente and Opus and all those companies are still small, still handmade premium cigar companies. It's just that now they're backed by Davidoff and General Cigar and big companies, and they're still amazing products. I love cigars. Paul knows I'm a little excited this week because I got my Cuban cigar flavor in. So now I got the Dominican and the Cuban, and we're going to fucking fly on the Cuban cigar recipe this weekend.
All right. Well, Pippa's in the chat. And yeah, Pippa, you'll be very, very, very happy. Patrick's now mixing all his own liquids, pretty much, for the most part.
Oh, I haven't used a, I have some store-bought liquid still, but I haven't used any of it since I started play testing my stuff.
I know.
That's what I call it, play testing.
It's not really play testing because some of the recipes you're coming up with are fucking mind-boggling.
I'm play testing.
Yeah.
These are all. That was 3 different flavors I just held up.
Yep. I think it's quite fun.
Well, yeah. I mean, you made a living or tried to make a living out of it, and I'm just making some fun out of it.
Well,
but Yeah.
I still do. Like, but nowhere near what I was making. No, you're correct. But that'll change very shortly.
So we've been making a huge effort to add international voices to the American audience, to bring information to y'all from different places in the world. And Africa is one of those places that I'm really interested in. We've highlighted, or we've targeted a few different people that we haven't had on the show yet, that no one in America has had on their show yet, on our show. But this next piece is from Africa. And I have to look here. But somewhere during the article, we'll find out where this is from, but it is Africa. And please, I am not going to be able to say this name. Paul, I'm going to throw it on screen and highlight it and see if you can say this name. Right. So it's right here. Zamokwaki. See, I know I'm fucking that one up.
Good luck.
Yeah, I apologize profusely.
Even I'm good. I'm good at.
This has vowels and this has consonants right next to each other, and that really doesn't work for me. So this person, so the piece is called. It's an opinion piece, and it's in all democracy, all voices should be heard, which I 100% agree with. Mm-hmm. So for the purposes of this piece, I'm going to call this guy Zamo. Mm-hmm. So Zamo writes that he is concerned that government only appears to engage certain industries on policy matters, which is the same argument that we just pointed out here on the show. We talked about how they engaged with premium cigars and threw vaping under the bus. So we're going to scroll down here. While delivering a Nelson Mandela annual lecture in November of 2004, Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu made this important call to government. And this is a quote from Desmond Tutu. We need to find ways in which we engage the people in public discourse so that no one feels marginalized and their point of view counts. It matters. We should debate more openly. We should not be browbeaten by pontificating decrees from on high. In the context of this call, then President Thabo Mbeki correctly stated that one of the fundamental requirements for engaging in a rational discussion is familiarity with the facts pertaining to the matter under discussion and respect for the truth. So this last bit, respect for the truth, is something that most policymakers in the United States do not have, especially when it comes to vaping. In this matter of common cause, that democracy is premised on the freedom of opinion that is reflected through open criticism and debates. However, there are worrying trends in South Africa, where government has refused to engage and deliberately ignored the voices of various stakeholders in this decision-making or policy formulation. Mm-hmm. This worrying trend is acutely amplified by the government's execution of the national state of disaster and the implementation of a national lockdown as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic. At times, government decisions were irrational and saw attempts by industries to engage government in practical solutions to the pandemic rebuffed. Recently, after initially barring travel from most countries outside of the African continent, Cabinet revised down the number of COVID-19 high-risk countries whose citizens are allowed into the country for leisure purposes in an effort to respond to some of the concern raised by the tourism industry. So the government listened to the tourism industry because the government and the country itself gets huge amounts of money from the tourism industry, and they were listened to. Obviously, the tourism industry lobbyists spoke loudly with their checks, and the government relaxed some of the travel restrictions. So, and a good bit of this has to do with engaging the government and in COVID, but it does tie into us. I promise. So high-risk countries, the list of high-risk countries will be revised regularly using what government calls a risk categorization model, which on careful scrutiny does not look to have a sound basis. In a series of media interviews, the Minister of Home Affairs could not adequately explain how the decision to retain 22 countries in the high-risk category arrived, except to state that government had to consider its own capacity to monitor compliance with COVID-19 protocols at ports of entry. It remains unclear what special capacity requirement there is to talk about the monitor compliance by a traveler from the UK, Russia, or Argentina that is different from a traveler from Kenya or Nigeria. Like many before, this decision comes across as a product of thumb-sucking exercise. Overzealous bureaucrats have used the opportunity presented by the national state of disaster to resuscitate the war on so-called sin industries, specifically the alcohol and tobacco industries, with the infant vaping industry becoming collateral. For instance, the debate on gender-based violence and reckless social behavior is now mostly centered around alcohol abuse, ignoring the deeper socioeconomic constructs of our communities. Sadly, government is not engaging the industry sufficiently to find a common ground to address these challenges perceived or real, brought about by the consumption of alcohol and tobacco. For government, the solution simply is overregulation. The vaping industry made a case to the government to consider permitting the sale of EVPs or electronic vaping products during the stringent levels of the national lockdown without success. Government was not willing to lend an ear to the industry owing to its perception regarding the vaping industry's link to the tobacco industry. The vaping industry, mainly made up of small to medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, was made to suffer despite there being no credible evidence linking vaping to the exacerbation of COVID-19 symptoms. At the same, government has been very keen on listening to and engaging anti-tobacco lobby groups on their opposition to vaping. The Department of Health has flatly refused to engage the vaping industry without any reasonable explanation. This goes against the spirit of democracy, where everyone deserves to be heard. So, I mean, and there's more, but this is specifically a problem that happens. This is international. This is a universal theme, where the government chooses to listen to one group of stakeholders, the anti-tobacco people, or in the earlier example, the tourism lobby, but completely shuts out other stakeholders because of some ideological problem. So they believe that vaping causes COVID to be worse, even though there's no sound science that proves that. And they believe that there's some sort of tenuous connection between big tobacco and vaping. And they're not willing to listen to the industry stakeholders, not only here, but now in South Africa. Not only here, but in Australia or in, Thailand or in all those other places. So this is just more evidence or more proof that they're not. I mean, it's not just the American government that's unwilling or unable to accept the science that we bring when it comes to vaping or the public benefit of vaping.
Well, we're now showing the cracks here in Australia. Pippa alluded to it earlier in the comments that Becky Freeman, Simon Chapman's counterpart, is now been confirmed that she's directly connected to Bloomberg in some way, shape, or form, which is quite interesting. And this then means that Chapman was also taking money from Bloomberg in some way, shape, or form. But once we go down that rabbit hole, it's never going to end. But South Africa, when COVID hit, I remember the sale of cigarettes, vaping products, alcohol, everything just went offline. It was like fucking what just happened?
Complete prohibition.
Right. So you've then got, I'll say it straight up, you have alcoholics there in South Africa that, what are they going to do? Are they going to start brewing their own stuff, which, you know, half of them wouldn't know what the fuck they're doing, right?
No.
For a start. Second, you have people that are lifelong cigarette smokers that are craving for a cigarette. So the black market instantly went into overdrive by this, you know, went into overdrive, right? And then the vaping industry, that then got decimated, which in South Africa, they're right in saying that it was in their infancy. Vaping has only been a thing in South Africa for only a couple of years, but there were a couple of old stalwarts that were in South Africa that were vapors for a number of years. So they decimated 3 industries, but they listened to, hang on, the tourism industry. What the hell? And Derek Yak actually brought up a really good part about South Africa. That the part of South Africa, I don't remember the actual region, but they rely specifically on tobacco production to keep their economy alive. It's a scary world that we live in right now. COVID has done so much damage on so many different fronts. And we're watching the collateral damage. We're watching the collateral damage around the world.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's,
you know, this is the last Son of Liberty Radio before the election.
Well, okay, yeah, that's don't go there.
Yeah, I mean, the world is fucked up, and I'm gonna predict it. Here it goes. Regardless of who wins on Tuesday, Wednesday morning is gonna happen, and nothing is gonna be changed. We're gonna have a dumbass as president, and the FDA is still going to have deemed vaping as a tobacco product, and we will still be doing what we fucking do every week. I did promote the show, and if you read the text, I was trying to make a joke. Yeah, we're not going anywhere, and this fucking thing that we do is not going to change. There's no magic wand that's going to get waved, and if the Cheeto gets elected again, which could very well fucking happen, nothing is going to change. If Joe Biden gets elected, literally nothing is fucking going to change. We still have the same battle that we've been battling. The people that we fight the faces or names might change slightly or not at all. And we're going to keep doing what we fucking do, period. You know, this whole idea that one of them is going to make or break us is not, I mean, literally it's not going to happen.
Or magically save the industry. Yeah,
that's never fucking happening. No. I mean, I've said it on this show before, and I'm sorry if you are a Donald Trump supporter. Literally, we've already gone through it. I mean, on Twitter, I think I hurt somebody's feelings the other day because they were like, "Oh, Donald Trump is going to do X, Y, and Z," and I'm like, "Fuck you." Donald Trump knew Donald Trump had his meeting in last September or November, October, somewhere around there, and had months to act from that meeting, months before COVID happened, and didn't.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Stated, I read the transcripts. I rewatched the video like a month ago just to make sure that I wasn't wrong. his statements in that meeting indicate that he absorbed the information and had a basic understanding of what would happen. Specifically brought up counterfeit products from China that, if they acted, that they were setting up a monopoly for Chinese goods to come into America and destroy small mom and pop businesses, and nothing fucking happened.
Yeah, correct.
Period.
Look, like Fig's got a great point. Fig's got a great point there. Neither of them, are for us without massive insiders on our side. Correct. And then Bill Tarling, we vape, we vote, will have zero threatening value after next Tuesday.
It
correct.
Literally doesn't. And I'm telling you now, it has no threatening value now. Doesn't matter if it has any. It has no fucking threatening value. No politician that I've spoken to, no politician that I've tweeted with, no politician that's made any public statements indicates to me that they believe or fear the vaping vote. They don't believe, and we've not done anything to prove that we are united in any way, shape, or form, and that the number of single issue voters that choose vaping is infinitesimally small.
Correct.
There are too many people. I mean, I've said this before. I'll say it again. We are such a diverse demographic in vaping. We have old vapors, we have young vapors, we have gay vapors, straight vapors, trans vapors, black, white, green, purple, whatever color. And all of them are going to choose the way they vote based on things that are important to them. And the vape vote is not one of those things. No. Period. No. It's not important to the people.
It might change.
I mean, it's very important to people like you and me. Vaping is a very big deal for us, for the enthusiast, and many of those people might choose. I mean, but I know people in this industry that are huge people in this industry that are not going to vote Republican ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. And they make their fucking living off of these products. It's not happening. I've seen, quite a lot of people in this industry. We had a Safada board member on the show last week. I've spoken to people that are high up in VTA. The industry is not paying their fucking dues.
Correct.
Neither one of those groups, both of those groups are going to lose any relevance when they lose funding. And, I'm not going to get into that. I'm seriously, if Tennessee, if Demetrius does a Facebook Live and says that Tennessee, which is one of the most solid state trade organizations in the United States, doesn't have funding.
Yes.
And he's done that. He's said, we haven't got next year's funding. And he said on the video, I always have funding for the year after this year. And people are just not fucking paying. People are not paying their dues. Whether that's Safada, VTA, whether that's their state groups, a lot of the state groups are out of business because they can't fund the fight. Period. I mean, that's I don't need to say anything else. If you're in the industry and you're listening to my voice and you're a member of either one of those groups, because I don't fly any fucking flag. I will listen to both and take the things that I like from one and the things that I like from the other, and I'll support you in that thing over there that you're doing that I like. But if you're doing something I don't like, I don't got your back. I'm not, I'm only supporting the people that I like and the ideas that I like.
Tom,
so yeah.
Tom, you have a point there, right? With the MSA, that's only part of it, right?
I mean, that doesn't have the MSA has nothing to do.
Part of it.
The MSA has nothing to do with the fact that the vaping companies are not funding their groups anymore.
Correct.
They're focusing. I'm saying that right. Focusing on PMTAs and doing what they can do to protect their business on that level, but lobbying still has to happen. I mean,
correct.
Regardless of whether there's a fucking end game where we win this, lobbying is part of that. So anyway, that's enough of that because I'm just not talking about fucking trade groups right now because I'm disappointed and pissed off and I can only say it so much. But hey, I called the show Good News and Bad News.
Right.
So we've done some bad news.
Right.
So we'll do a good news. We'll do good news. So this is a local piece from Franklin County, Tennessee, by the way. So it says survey, teen vaping down significantly in Franklin County. And we go down here. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is Massachusetts. There is a Franklin County in Tennessee, but anyway, Greenfield, Massachusetts. New data shows that vaping has gone down significantly in Franklin County. That's according to a survey that has just released in the Communities for Care Coalition. Just 20% of students surveyed said that they have vaped within the last 30 days. That's down from where it was last year at 32%. The 2020 Teen Health Survey was conducted in February, surveying 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. It looks at risk factors, tackling topics like mental health, dating, sexuality, along with peer risk taking, among other things. While vaping use amongst teens in Franklin County peaked in 2019, Kat Allen with the coalition says the decline in 2020 can be attributed to the regulations on the vape industry.
Mm-hmm.
What fucking regulations?
Well, okay. Magical regulations. What are they?
But I mean, I guess they're saying that since and this is not a regulation, but you know, a couple companies voluntarily pulled their flavored products off the market for convenience stores.
Yep.
Those are not regulations.
No.
So anyway, it says here you were able to buy vaping products that said it had 0 milligram of nicotine in it, which it actually had significant levels of nicotine because it was not regulated at all. What?
Here we go.
What? Yeah. So the products that kids are known for purchasing, the Juul, was never available in zero nicotine ever.
It was.
And
It was.
Never. They never sold zero. They never sold 0 milligram Juuls ever.
Okay. They were never sold, but there was a 0 milligram Juul pod.
Where?
It was part of the development process.
Oh, but they never sold it anywhere.
Correct.
So Allen added that substance use as a whole with teens is significantly lower and has been going down steadily over the last 2 decades. She said that's true not just for Franklin County, but Massachusetts as well. Oh, you know what? I just put 2 and 2 together.
What?
Massachusetts had a flavor ban.
Correct.
I just thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
But when was that? When was that implemented? I think that was this year. Pretty sure that was this year.
Right.
So yeah, but here there's a second one. So it says here, vaping declines among Fairfax County teens. Survey says. So this is another local piece from another place. This is Tyson, in Fairfax County. And let me scroll down here and see if I can figure out where this is. Anybody see? Oh, this must be. It's apparently in the DC Metroplex area because Alexandria, Arlington, and Reston are all in those places. So this could easily be Fairfax County, Virginia. So anyway, Fairfax County teenagers are vaping less than their peers nationwide. A county survey of middle and high school students found 15.1% of the 48,915 students who responded to the 2019-2020 Fairfax County Youth Survey reported vaping within the last 30 days, compared to 22.5% of teenagers in the U.S. overall. So they're saying that 22% of kids all over the country vape?
No, I don't. I can't see. I can't. Oh, okay. Well, tell me when.
That
better?
That's better. Yeah. Your gain was way too high there.
No, I was using the wrong. I've got this new panel that I'm still not used to. It updated last night.
So nicotine remains the drug most frequently used for vaping, which involves the inhalation of an aerosol through a battery-powered device. But its usage declined from 16.7% in 2018 to under 12% in 2019. About half as many students reported using flavoring in this year's survey, 5.5%, as they did in the previous year's 10.3%. But the use of marijuana rose from 8 in 2018 to 9 in 2019. The number of Fairfax teens who say they have vaped within their lifetime dropped from 28% to 25% in 2019, according to a survey which is given annually to Fairfax County Public School students, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, this is, this is a really long fucking article, but that's two pieces that show that local news in different places are reporting a reduction in teen vaping, even though that piece that we read earlier continues to use the youth epidemic dialogue, Paul, which has never, ever, ever been a real thing.
No, it's never been a real thing all over the world, to tell you the truth. You know, one county says that they've got one thing, one county says they've got another. None of them have the real data. This is what pisses me off.
Yeah.
Why the hell are they playing with data that is not real?
Because
we know that it's not real.
Because they can. I mean, they can use trumped up bullshit science. They can regurgitate science that has been retracted. I mean, we're still seeing glance bullshit. We're still seeing that fucking heart attack study. Quoted. Quoted.
Don't bring him into this today, please.
Well, that's not the day. But I'm just saying is we're still seeing bad science that has been debunked or retracted still being regurgitated. So asking how these people get away with continuing to quote bullshit that has been disproven. I mean, obviously, we talked about this, the National Youth Tobacco Survey, right? When Gottlieb was still at FDA, it's only been about a year that he was still there. Yep. He justified a lot of his actions based on pre-release data that he got before the National Youth Tobacco Survey numbers were actually published, not including the fact that they didn't release the full data set even now. And you have to be a statistician to fucking understand that bullshit to begin with. But one of the justifications was the numbers are alarming. There's been a huge increase, but then the fucking official numbers come in 8 months later. Twoies. And it says exactly the opposite, that there's a decline in youth vapor use. But Gottlieb used that bullshit lie yes, Paul or Bill, I'll read that in a minute, as a justification to come down hard on the industry. So yeah, your question about how they can get away with it, or how are they doing it or whatever, this is the way they've been fucking us for the last 10 years. Paul's typing over there instead of responding to me. That hurts my feelings.
No, I'm being asked questions. I'm getting private messages now to answer questions.
Well, I've been getting a couple, and there's a couple flashing here, and I know that Figgy's mentioned me, and Bill has sent me like 35 messages, and I haven't actually pulled those up yet because
I've got a whole bunch of re-ask the question, please.
Oh! Do you see the doors opening behind me?
Uh-oh.
I'm getting a private message from the wife, so give me 1 second. I'm going to remove myself from the stream.
Okay. Uh-oh. He's in trouble with wifey. What's going on here? Okay, so we're going fishing over in New Zealand. Bill saying, yeah, wait until we get onto that article because I'm going to be screaming and yelling and swearing like a motherfucker when that article comes up. Trust me.
So you sent me a link this week for, I mean, this is like, you know, and I just, you know, anyway, 179 organizations worldwide call on Google to ban apps that encourage smoking and vaping from Google Play Store.
I knew it. Yep.
There's 179 health organizations worldwide. Really? So anyway, it says the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, along with 179 organizations from 62 countries, today called on Google to adopt a new policy prohibiting applications that encourage the purchase or consumption of smoking or vaping products in the Google Play Store and to remove all current apps promoting smoking and vaping from Google Play. Apple, Amazon, and many other companies have already adopted similar policies that prohibit the promotion of tobacco or vaping products following a November 2019 announcement by Apple. The company would prohibit and remove apps promoting use of tobacco and e-cigarette products. Nearly 200 related apps were removed from the Apple Store.
Yep.
So anyway, so I'm not, you know, here. I said, okay, I'll read a little bit more. In a letter to the Google CEO Sundar Pichai, I'm probably not saying that right. The group stated, in recent years, tobacco companies have increasingly used technology platforms to target young people. Over the last few months, tobacco and nicotine companies have exploited the COVID-19 crisis to market and promote special online and mobile delivery applications or application offers for their harmful products. Philip Morris International and British American Tobacco have flooded Instagram and Facebook with ads for cigarettes like Marlboro and Lucky Strike, and heated cigarettes like IQOS and Glow. Similarly, Juul has fueled a youth e-cigarette epidemic in the United States, given by the company's patently youth-oriented social media advertising. Okay, for one thing, Juul pulled they closed their Instagram down.
All of it.
It's gone.
It's gone. Gone.
How are they? Where?
Gone.
Where?
Gone.
And, oh my God! When did Lucky Strike or Marlboro advertise on social media? When?
A long time ago.
When? I've never seen a cigarette ad on the internet, like a paid promotion or an actual ad, because it's been illegal since like the 1970s, 1980s. Yep. Like they literally can't advertise anywhere. So I mean, obviously maybe I'm wrong, but time is truly the essence to protect the next generation from global tobacco epidemic, and we urge you to act immediately, the letter concludes. The letter highlights several of the apps currently available in the Google Play Store that promote smoking and vaping. These include apps that provide users with directions to create vape liquids, as well as apps produced by Altria that promote coupons for Marlboro cigarettes.
I haven't seen a coupon one for Altria.
No, I have not. There was an image that was linked to this piece.
Yeah, they've changed the image
earlier. The image changed because there were app names on the other one. Like the Ohm's law calculator was one of them. Like
hello, you get rid of that, you're going to fuck people up when they want to go and blow themselves up. That's where we start.
There were two wire apps.
Correct.
There was like an an e-liquid calculator.
They were safety apps.
There was one that was called Smoke Buddy, and I asked you what it was, so I looked it up.
That's a quitting tool.
No, it wasn't.
What is it?
So the one that the image of the one that it was a an app designed to help you find the cheapest cigarettes near you.
Oh, sneaky. So they snuck that one in.
It was geotagged to your location, and it would find you the lowest cigarette prices around you.
Oh.
So that's what it was. So yeah. I'll be right back. I think my wife's TV doesn't work because I put a smart plug on it. I'll be right.
Actually, while Patrick's gone, yeah, let's talk about a couple of things here. Bill, when we get into that actual topic, switching from smoking to vaping and the science behind it, they've proven no data whatsoever that they're trying to put through in that. I use Nichrome N80 in pretty much everything that I vape on right now. So what the hell are they talking about? Makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever in that. What else do we got? I don't honestly know what Patrick's up to. I think wifey needs to try and figure out things. Throw some questions at me, people. I want to know things. I really want to know things. Come on. Question time. No questions, there'll be dead air. This is going to suck. Up just a tiny bit. There's one. What do we got here? Open link in a new tab. All right. Fading super early.
Oh,
up wake early.
I was going to have Pig on when we got done with all these articles. We still hadn't finished all the articles yet.
Bugger.
Yeah, the smart plug wouldn't work. It wouldn't turn the TV on.
Oops.
She didn't understand the correct process. She was turning my TV on here because it's named bedroom TV.
I don't want to know about that one.
Well, that's the one in the bedroom.
Oh, Bill, we really going down that pathway?
Okay, let me look at this
turkeys.
Piece. Let me look at this piece that he sent me a whole bunch of shit, and I already had stuff laid out, and he's trying to get me to add stuff, and I want to, and you want me to talk to you gotta let me add it when I'm building the show. Come on now. And if it's about an herbal vaporizer, I'm not talking about another herbal vaporizer. Period.
It's the Australian. It's the Australian one.
Is it a different one than what he sent me?
Clap on, clap off.
Yeah, no, the ones that he sent me are all herbal vaporizers.
It's the Australian Cancer Council.
He didn't send me that one.
What they're trying to do here. Where is it?
If he'd send it to me, I could share it.
Yeah, there we go. That's funny as hell. There you go. I've sent it to you in chat.
Did you send it? I can't click on links from the chat in private in this thing.
You highlight it and then right click and then.
Yeah, but I'm fucking lazy. I just want to be able to click on it. I'm that lazy. Like seriously, I'm pretty fucking lazy. All right, am I the fucking only one that despises this new layout? Am I really? I can't possibly be the only one.
I don't have that layout.
This is the new Facebook layout. This is what it looks like. And it no longer gives you the ability to roll it back.
There are ways, Patrick.
Yeah. Now, I will do this for you. If this is the one you're talking about, right?
Planet of the Vapes, yeah.
Now, normally, I could give two shits about what's reported in the vaping media because 9 times out of 10, it's poorly written and it's not fully researched. But since Bill posted, I will believe it.
No, this is actually very well read.
Yeah, I typically believe that I should find non-vaping media to find stuff, but yeah, let's point. And these things are full of fucking ads too.
Yeah, well, you run an ad blocker.
So no, because we got to show where we get it from. So this is from Planet of the Vape, so that we give credit. And this is a fact sheet of lies, and this is published by written by David Cross, published today.
Mm-hmm.
And it says fake news in the graphic here. It says the Cancer Council Australia and Australia's Heart Foundation has issued a fact sheet to Australian politicians. The document is a shameless and ideologically driven list of lies and half-truths. The Australian Tobacco Harm Reduction Association, ATHRA, has slammed this attempt at misdirection on such an important issue. So then we go down here. It says electronic cigarettes fact checked by Australian Cancer Council and Heart Foundation went out to MPs last week. ATHRA commented the document contains significant factual errors and omits important evidence. It cannot be regarded by policymakers or media as reliable. The 4-page leaflet lists out 10 things about vaping the council and foundation call myths. They attack vaping as the best method. They attack vaping as the best method for quitting smoking. The fact that vaping is at least 95% safer than smoking, and that it is mainly long-term smokers who have switched to vaping. They deny that traditional methods of tobacco control have resulted in smoking cessation flatlining in the country. They claim experts on all oppose vaping, and that Australia's approach isn't out of step with Canada, New Zealand, Europe, and the United Kingdom. What? Well, I don't know about other parts of Europe, and I'm not 100% sure about Canada, but I can guarantee you that the tactics that they're using and the language that they use and the methodology that they want to regulate vaping for Australia is completely out of step with the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, they say the proposed medicalization of nicotine will not result in job losses and vape shop closures. ATHRA called the list of claims egregious. The advocacy organization points to the Cochrane Review, RACGP, and Grabovac meta-analysis papers concluding that vaping is 70% more effective than traditional nicotine replacement therapies. It added the 95% safer estimate is based on comprehensive independent reviews of the scientific evidence by both the Public Health England and the UK Royal College of Physicians. It is flagrantly untrue that it is adopted from a panel discussion with commercial interests. I'm going to pause this for a second. So there was a hearing here in the United States, and I'm not quite sure whether it was Chicago or where exactly it was, but one of the politicians and at first it was one of the body parts people said during the hearing that the Royal College of Physicians released their document, what is it called? No Smoke Nicotine. What was it? What is the full name of the paper? Don't give up, Bill. I'm still blah. Anyway,
He gives up. Why are you giving up, Bill?
Nicotine Without Smoke. Anyway, that it was authored by a handful of people that were all tied to tobacco interests.
Correct.
So there was no discussion. There was no retort. There was no way to counter that claim that I think it's 400 pages. It's a huge document. Was only authored by a handful of people, and there was no input from the other members of the RCP when releasing that document, and that they attacked the veracity of that document based on a lie that it was only a handful of people that were authoring that document and that had input on that document. That's a sad thing. If anybody believes that the Royal College of Physicians is going to allow a handful of people to author such a big, important document and not check it and not hand it around to other members of the group to see if they agree with it, I don't know how many doctors are members of the Royal College of Physicians, but I have to think there's a couple thousand doctors in there, probably, if not more. But anyway, I'll throw it back on screen. So, vaping is being used by teenagers, not adult smokers trying to quit. No, says Athra. Youth vaping rates are low, and vaping is the most popular adult quitting aid in Australia. In Australia in 2019, only 1.8% of 14 to 17-year-olds had vaped once or more in the last 12 months, according to the National Drug Strategy Household Survey. Less than 1.3% of non-smoking youth have vaped. And that runs counter to the 23% that we just mentioned in the last article, that apparently 23% of American youths are using these products. And we already know that I'm going to say the name. It's going to really piss me. No, I'm going to say it nice because you said I have to say it nice. That Greg Hunt quoted American youth epidemic bullshit to justify the actions taken.
Correct. 100%. But
and we already know the in the UK, the experts say that we don't have a youth vaping problem in the UK.
No, not at all. But
so it's only American kids that are unruly and don't follow the rules.
Actually, I think Australian kids are more unruly than what the US kids are. To tell you the truth.
No, there's 23% of these kids are using these products during the pandemic and where they're locked down and they can't leave the fucking house.
What?
These guys are fucking drug kingpins.
And 8,000 a day, apparently.
Yes.
New uptake of vapors. Huh. Wow.
Yeah. So anyway,
if I was an absolute cocksucker, I'd love to get 10% of that market if 8,000 a day is taking up a new vapor product. But why? But your figures over there, we're targeting 14 to 17-year-olds because as soon as you turn 18, you're at legal age to vape, smoke, drink, go to war, everything at 18. US, it's 21.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mind-blowing.
Bill, send me that link that you were talking about.
Which one?
This is not the one that he wanted me to do.
All right.
This is not the one he wanted me to do.
No. All right. Yeah, that's fine.
Send it to me in private message. Don't send it. Don't put it in here. I can't click on any comments in here. If I click on it, it just shows it on screen. Anyway, so yeah, it says since 2013, the rate of decline in smoking prevalence in the U.S. and England has been 3 times faster than in Australia, which I find hard to believe since a pack of cigarettes costs like $30.
Keep going now. It's up to 40.
Okay. You tell me
cheap
that
a cheap packet is 30, right?
Yeah.
Go to the fact sheet, right? Click on that one there for the.
Wait. Let me read this last comment. I want to read this last comment. You can read more about how Athra demolishes every single lie in the link below.
Yep.
The only possible conclusion to draw from the fact sheet is that the Cancer Council of Australia is pro-cancer, and Australia's Heart Foundation has no heart. Their actions will keep smokers smoking and fuel actions to drive vapors back to cigarettes.
Yep.
So you want me to read the Athra's response?
No. Read their response, their fact sheet. When you see this
is the Cancer Council's fact sheet.
Yep.
4 pages.
Rub it and make it bigger.
I have to rub it and make it bigger.
Yep. When you see this, you are going to lose your shit.
No, I already had a bowel movement recently, so I'm pretty good. Electronic cigarette fact sheet. Fact check. Yep. Claim e-cigarettes are the best quitting method available. Facts. Systemic reviews and quality trials have found that no conclusive evidence that e-cigarettes are an effective quit aid or that they are more effective than established, approved, safe methods for quitting smoking. They have, however, concluded that e-cigarette use undermines quit attempts by promoting tandem use of e-cigarettes and tobacco and maintaining high levels of nicotine addiction in people trying to quit. Lobbyists may single out individual studies that report a contrary result. This is why a critical appraisal of all the evidence through systemic framework is integral to public health policy. On current evidence, e-cigarettes are not an effective quitting aid, let alone the best. Claims that e-cigarettes are the best quitting aid. Ignore the systemic review evidence. I don't know of any marketing or promotion or advertisement or study that promotes dual use. I'm fairly confident that every comment that we've made, every comment that I've seen, even Mitch Zeller, saying that if obviously every cigarette that you don't smoke is a victory. Obviously, if you continue to smoke combustible cigarettes while you're quitting with an e-cigarette, you're still putting toxins and carcinogens and bad shit into your body. So, yeah, I mean, don't do that. Obviously work towards no combustible cigarettes. But yeah, nobody's perfect and it's going to take a minute. That's just the way it is. I can't possibly think of any other thing to counter that. Obviously, even at its best, and this is from smoking cessation studies conducted by them, not us, show that at best with behavioral support and counseling, nicotine replacement therapy, and traditional cessation tools, at best are only 6 to 7% effective. And that's like if you try all the other shit that goes with it. I'm talking about the counseling sessions, the group therapies, or the support groups, or whatever, and using NRT products. 6% is as best as you're going to get. 6 to 7%.
Yep.
I just quoted one. 70%. Yep. E-cigarettes are 70% more effective.
Right. Get on to the next one. This is going to blow people's mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
E-cigarettes are 95% less harmful than smoked cigarettes. Facts. This claim has no basis in science, yet is repeated frequently by lobbyists. It is attributed to Public Health England, the set-to-be disbanded entity that adopted it following a panel discussion involving commercial interests and a separate summary briefing from a UK parliamentary group on pharmacy. It involved no systemic review of the evidence, no recognition of the harms of e-cigarettes, and relied on the opinions of a small group of individuals with no pre-specified expertise in tobacco control. It has been thoroughly debunked in the peer-reviewed literature, and this is referring to the bibliography 4 and 5. Now, I have to stop for a minute, scroll down to the bottom of this, because I want to see what the 4 and 5 are in the footnotes. Let's see. So there's a study here, the invalidity of the off-cited estimate of relative harms of electronic cigarettes, American Journal of Public Health, January of 2020. So I'm going to copy this real quick, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm just going to go to my Google, and I'm going to paste that right there, and I'm going to hit return. Okay, so here are a few different places. Let's see if any of these are behind a paywall or in front of a paywall, because I want to read this. So it's not asking me for money. So we're just going to go here. In sum, 2013 evidence lacking estimate of the harm of e-cigarettes relative to combustible cigarettes has been often cited. However, since 2013, e-cigarette devices and liquids have changed. Evidence of potential harm has accumulated. Therefore, the evidence lacking estimate derived in 2013 cannot be valid today, should not be relied upon further. Further estimates on the harm of e-cigarettes should be based on the evidence that is now available and revised accordingly as more evidence accrues. So, let's just read this next one. It says the 95% safer estimate is a factoid, unreliable information repeated so often that it becomes accepted as fact. Public health practitioners, scientists, and physicians should expose the fragile status of the factoid emphatically by highlighting its unreliable provenance and its lack of validity today. Note that the many changes in e-cigarette devices and liquids, the accumulation of evidence of potential harm, and the increased prevalence of use and growing evidence that e-cigarette use is associated with subsequent cigarette smoking. Whoa.
Get fucked. In my best Kevin Crowley voice.
So now we have to discuss the correlation virus. I'll use Kevin's words. Correlation. So it says here, T. Eisenberg and the two authors, are paid consultants in litigation against the tobacco industry and are named on a patent for a device that measured the puffing behavior of electronic cigarette users. In addition, as of September 2019, T. Eisenberg is a consultant in litigation against the electronic cigarette industry. S. Jort reports receiving personal fees from Hydra Biosciences and Sanofi SA and non-financial support from GlaxoSmithKline Pharmaceuticals outside the submitted work.
Jackpot.
Whew. So, bing, bing, bing. This is the alarm, and I promise you, Bill, I'll get to your thing. So the main, one of the main arguments is that obviously, this is from the Lancet. This is 5.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and rip this one too while we're at it.
This openly goes to the direct connection between pharma and what they're trying to do here in Australia.
So this is from 2015, so maybe it won't be behind a paywall. So this is another bullshit piece.
Yep.
Obviously we're gonna. Oh, really? Let's just go right here to where it says PDF. Let's see if they try to make me pay for it.
This is the other thing that we spoke about the other day, that these articles and documents...
Oh my God. This isn't even a study.
No.
This one is
an
editorial.
Correct.
So it's an op-ed. It's an opinion piece. So
Yeah.
these people are basing a policy decision and justification for telling lies on a fucking op-ed?
Yeah.
Who wrote this fucking op-ed? It's not even signed. There's no byline.
No.
And, I mean, obviously they fucking mentioned Pelosa.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of their fucking bullets. This is one of their justifications. Is a fucking editorial.
Yep.
Yeah. So it says, I'm going to just read the first paragraph just because I want to see if it fires me up. So it says, last week, Public Health England reported what it described as a landmark review of evidence about e-cigarettes. The headline in their press release quoted their top line finding: e-cigarettes found 95% less harmful than tobacco. Kevin Fenton, Director of Health and Wellbeing at Public Health England, commented that e-cigarettes are not completely risk-free, but when compared to smoking, evidence shows they carry just a fraction of the harm. Indeed, 95% figure was widely picked up by news media. The BBC, for example, reported with certainty that e-cigarettes are 95% less harmful than tobacco. So what was the allegedly game-changing evidence that e-cigarettes are safe? Okay, so nobody said fucking safe. Did anybody say fucking safe? They said safer. There is a difference. So in the evidence update published by Public Health England, written by Anne McNeil from King's College London and Peter Hijick from Queen Mary University of London, the safety of e-cigarettes in the light of new evidence is summarized in this way. While vaping may not be 100% safe, most of the chemicals causing smoking-related disease are absent, and the chemicals that are present pose limited danger. It had previously been estimated that e-cigarettes are around 95% safer than smoking. This appears to remain a reasonable estimate. The headline conclusion of the PHE report was a judgment relying on two references from 2014. One, reference 146, was a briefing report in the UK all-party parliamentary group on pharmacy. The other, reference 10, was a paper by David Nutt and colleagues published in European Addiction Research. It is from a paper from the 95%, or it is this paper that the 95% figure derives. McNeil and Hajic are clear about the importance of this work. There is a need to publicize the current best estimate that using e-cigarettes is around 95% safer than smoking. So if anyone has looked at the fucking Public Health England report, which I could easily throw up on the screen because it's here somewhere on my computer, but it's close to, it's over 400 pages. Yeah. And the bibliography, which is all of the shit that they refer to as part of the review, there's close to like 50 or 60 different sources that they're looking at, not two. This asshole's claiming that only two things were used in deriving that from, which is bullshit, not true. All right. So I'm getting off of this, Kevin, or you're not Kevin, Paul. Before Bill has
he's going to blow a gasket,
an aneurysm. Let me go to this other link because this is the one that he really wants me to use.
Oh, India.
I think
God.
No, this is not the India one. This is the other one that he asked me to throw up here. So I'm going to have to give Bill a producer credit on the show. I'm rubbing it early so that it's already big when I put it on screen. Mm-hmm. So the type of e-cigarette you should never use.
Oh, no. Bill, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Like this is the one that he really wanted me to show, so I need to show it. So yeah, this is from the website What Doctors Don't Tell You. I want to read this. It says about the author Brian Hubbard. Oh, it's giving me a 404. Like when I try to click on the author's link. Yeah. So they don't want me to know who this guy is. So anyway, this is from October 30th. So that's today. And it's under the headlines or the search words, blood pressure, breathing, and heart attack.
Hubbard, has that got anything to do with Scientology?
Hey, if you haven't read any of L. Ron Hubbard's science fiction books, you're really missing out, dude.
Yeah, they're science fiction books. That's all they are.
Well, that's how that's where you got to start as a pulp science fiction writer. But anyway, vaping with a special type of e-cigarette can cause serious lung damage after just a few hours. A special type of e-cigarette. E-cigarettes with nickel chromium alloy heating elements are far more dangerous than the type that uses stainless steel. Okay. Anyway, the damage the nickel chromium e-cigarette caused is so severe and sudden that researchers decided to release their findings early to warn of their dangers. Okay, who fucking uses nichrome wire anymore?
I use nichrome 80.
Dummy.
Why?
Because it's a pain in the ass to work with. I don't like it. Anyway, it's just because I've memorized how many wraps at this size bit I can get my Canthal to.
All my coils are nichrome 80, nichrome 90.
I actually have a spool of nichrome 80 here, I think, but I haven't used it for like a billion years. Anyway, after just 1 hour's use, smokers started to suffer severe respiratory distress, including labored breathing, wheezing, and panting, said researchers at the University of California at Irvine. Their lungs showed lesions, red blood cell congestion, and early signs of pneumonia. They had used stainless steel e-cigarettes for a year without suffering from breathing problems, and only one of the participants had slight lung inflammation in the lungs. The damage seems to be done by the heating element, as similar reactions were seen in everyone using e-cigarettes, whether or not they smoked them with nicotine, vitamin E, or THC. What? Whether they smoked them with nicotine? See,
Yep.
they add this like you're purposefully vaping vitamin E?
Yep.
Or THC, which had all been suspected of causing respiratory problems. Vaping has already been found to raise blood pressure and increase the risk of heart attack or stroke. Okay, so I must highlight this Journal of American Heart Association and see if I can track this bullshit down.
This whole article is just beyond comprehension.
Oh, here we go. So I don't know. It says open access. So anyway, let's see. We'll read the abstract real quick. E-cigarettes or vaping product use associated lung injury was recognized in the United States in the summer of 2019 as is typified by acute respiratory distress, shortness of breath, chest pain, cough, and fever associated with vaping. It can mimic many of the manifestations of coronavirus, COVID-19. Some investigators have suggested that e-cigarette or vaping product use associated lung injury was due to THC or vitamin E acetate oil mixed with electronic cigarette liquid. In experimental rodent studies initially designed to study the effect of electronic cigarette use in the cardiovascular system, we observed an e-cigarette or vaping product use associated lung injury like condition that occurred acutely after use of a nichrome heating element at high power without the use of THC, vitamin E, or nicotine. Lung lesions included thickening of the alveolar wall with foci on inflammation, red blood cell congestion, obliteration of alveolar spaces, and pneumonitis. In some cases, bronchi showed accumulation of fibrin, inflammatory cells, and mucus plugs. E-cigarette users should be cautioned about the potential danger of operating electronic cigarette units at high settings, the possibility that certain heating elements may be deleterious, and that e-cigarette or vaping product use associated lung injury may not be dependent upon THC, vitamin E, or nicotine. Okay, so at what temperature does nichrome start off-gassing harmful stuff? There is a temperature.
The actual flash point of nichrome, or
not the flash point. So all wires will off-gas at certain temperatures.
Correct.
And nichrome does have an off-gassing, which is harmful at super high temperatures.
Correct.
Do you know what that temperature is?
From memory?
I think I remember it. I remember it.
in Fahrenheit or Celsius.
Well, in American numbers, because most of the people listening are Americans.
For the most part, that's why most of the devices that we use, or the regulated devices, it was 400 Fahrenheit. Above 400 Fahrenheit was when they started off-gassing.
Ding, 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 ding. So, how many volts do you have to fucking hit that shit with to get 400 degrees?
Ooh. Quite a bit.
This is the fucking stupid ass study. So again, this is not at face value factually incorrect. It's not. It's just that no human being would ever vape at 400 degrees.
400 Fahrenheit. A few with.
I mean, I know that. Okay, there's probably some people out there that vape.
Like stupid high wattage devices, yes.
What the machine measures in temperature control, even if they put it in temperature control, and they're saying 400 degrees. I can guarantee you the temperature at the coil is not 400 degrees.
No, it's not. You also have to take into consideration ramp up time.
So there's ramp up time. There's doused or, I mean, a dry hit, maybe, possibly you could get 400 degrees. But by and large,
no.
Even if you, I mean, there's just no fucking way. So 400 degrees would be a dry coil with no cotton at full power, right? But you apply liquid in a wet wick, it's never going to hit 400 degrees. Ever. Period. Exclamation point. But yes, Bill brought us this piece because it's full of shit. And obviously, the article that he put doesn't make reference to the fact that the people that were, or the organisms that were harmed were fucking rats.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we were to say off gas minute amounts to human lungs of toxins, what is the dosage that's required to cause lung damage at 400 degrees to a fucking rat? I mean, we always talk about it's the dosage that's toxic. It's not always it's not particularly, I mean, obviously cyanide is deadly, but at what amount is it deadly?
Microdosing still won't kill you.
No. Microdosing to a human is a deadly fucking dosage to a rat.
Correct.
So this is not a human study, even though the initial piece that uses this source, it's the dose that makes the poison. Yes, Yolanda, correct. that is the proper phrasing. So yes, nichrome does off gas at 400 degrees, but
off gassing from memory, I think it's actually higher than 400. But
well, it's higher than 400 because
most devices,
of the wet wick and so forth and so on that actually cause the temperature not to be 400 degrees.
Yep. It's like that what?
that vaping will kill all your sperm, which they tried claiming was proven because they injected full concentration e-liquid into individual sperms and they died. Yes. I mean, I think everybody in this room realizes that nicotine is used as an insecticide, and it will kill insects at high dosages.
Correct. But it's also a different variation.
And also, wow, this is an advertisement for Vaporfy.com too, because that's the e-liquid that they used in their study.
Wow.
Let's see who wrote this bullshit. Michael T. Kleinman, Rebecca Johnson, blah blah blah. I don't recognize any of these names as being complete shills, but let's see if there's a sources of funding. This work was supported by the NHLBI, the effective electronic cigarette, blah blah blah. Okay, so the effect of electronic cigarettes on young versus old normal hearts and pathological hearts. Tobacco-related disease program. So these are all tobacco hater groups that are funding this thing.
Yep.
All right. So I don't feel bad about pointing out that this, of course, the science is pure science and it's not factually incorrect. It's being quoted improperly by this article from the What Doctors Won't Tell You website. It's a fairly poorly written. It's only this big. This is the whole text of the piece, right? That's it.
No, the rest of it's behind a paywall.
I don't even see a link to read anymore.
No, there was. Well, it's not there, but there is a link to a paywall.
Well, I mean,
I saw, and
yeah, and this is the reference right here. I actually pulled up the reference, and yeah. So
but there was a section that I saw the other day, and I said, "Well, this is a paywall. They're going to a study. They wouldn't release the actual testing properties. Like their hypothesis is one thing, but they did not reveal all the testing parameters that they went through the whole thing, which makes me wonder."
Well, I mean, the nichrome thing is not new. It's not new. I mean, we've known that nichrome outgasses for years. We've known that.
But nickel was like straight nickel wire back in the day was the problem, and it had to be used in temp control. That's why temp control became a thing. Nichrome 80, right? Nickel
it's
chromium.
still off gases.
Yeah, I know, but nickel chromium, and it was like something that Turk said the other day on Twitter, that it's used in heating elements in certain devices. And I said, well, no, you're wrong, actually. That's still Canthal. And nichrome 80 is actually used in heat guns and hair dryers and things like that, where you can actually push it even further.
I got the whole thing. Look at this.
Here we go.
Look at this. Look. So okay, there's the abstract. Blah blah blah. Yep. Keep scrolling. Blah blah blah. There's some pictures of lung tissue. Blah blah blah. Yep. Boom. That's it.
Source of funding. You go back to who funded.
I did. I already read that. Yeah. I already read that.
Too funny.
Yeah. So
University of California, is that Glance again?
No. This is the tobacco related disease research program at University of California.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, obviously you have to go. Nobody, like, if somebody clicked on that article, if somebody, Bill sent me this link. So if some person reads this, right, and starts reading this article and only reads this is it right here. Boom. This is the full article, and doesn't bother to go down and search for this, which is the actual source.
Yeah, correct.
And then read it and understand and be critical. They're going to read this and think, oh, vaping is awful. Vaping is bad. Nichrome wire will kill you. Without doing the critical thing, which is if there is a references tab that has a source on any news piece or on any article or even on a fucking website, because this is This is a half-ass fucking website, to tell you the truth.
Yep.
If you're not reading that, then you haven't been listening. Because, like, literally, you need to be critical. You need to think critically and follow the fucking rabbit.
Yeah.
For sure. What did Bill just send? Bill is sending me more stuff.
Bill's got things.
Stop it. Yeah, he just sent me the 80% smoking cessation rate piece. So, you know, I'm going to promote Bill for a minute. So Bill runs this thing called Vape Distortion. And Bill has more free time than I do. So Bill curates news from all over the world. Like, he goes and finds like news pieces that even I haven't seen and shares them in the Vape Distortion group. If you're not already following Vape Distortion on Facebook, you need to. It's a public group and there's over 1,000 members. So this is what it looks like. So go find Vape Distortion and you get to see a hell of a lot of good stuff. This is a new piece. So this is what he just sent me. 80% of vapors stop smoking completely. This is from the European Independent Vape Alliance, IEVA, which is pretty cool. So this is a press release, which means that they fucking paid for it. This means they believe this information enough that they're gonna pay a news agency to release it. So, European survey: 80% of vapors stop smoking completely. Flavors are extremely important to vapors, and this is from Brussels. So, this is Belgium. More than 80% of smokers who switch to e-cigarettes have completely stopped smoking. Around 65% of vapors in Europe use fruit and sweet liquids. These are two important results of a survey carried out by the European Independent Vape Alliance. More than 3,300 European e-cigarette users took part. Now, I can't remember, but I believe the Dr. Farsellino's flavor study had, 17,000 participants or something like that? Pretty sure.
Yeah, it was big. It was a big study.
Yeah. So we can just add their 3,300 responses to the 17,000 that we already had. So we have over 20,000 people have participated. But anyway, the European survey shows e-cigarettes are a widely used method in Europe to stop tobacco use. 81% of vapers have completely stopped using tobacco. Further, 12% have reduced smoking with the help of e-cigarettes. 86% of the participants assume that e-cigarettes are less harmful for them than tobacco cigarettes. There's no reason to assume that's factually true. Only 2% think e-cigarettes are equal or more harmful than combustible cigarettes. The British government agency Public Health England estimates that e-cigarettes are 95% less harmful than tobacco cigarettes. Importance of flavors. The variety of flavors seems to be one of the most important reasons for vapors to use e-cigarettes. 40% of them use fruit-flavored liquids and 25% prefer other sweet flavors. Yes. Thank you, Bill, for correcting me again. The Dr. Farsellino study had 69,000.
Yeah.
Not 17,000. I think 17,000 might have been Kevin's survey, which is not a scientific. Yeah, that's what it was. That's why the number was in my head. So, yes, obviously, this is regurgitation of data and information that we already know, but it's always good when somebody else does that. Yeah, you know what? I could develop a Bill effect liquid. I have a whole bunch of new fruity flavors that I would like to test out. And Bill is kind of fruity, so I will make a fruity flavor for Bill.
Yep, the Bill effect.
Yeah.
Then we have to put a picture of Robot on the bottle for him.
Well, I can't. We'll have to find a knockoff version of his favorite robot because obviously we don't want to conduct any trademark violations. So the last piece that I had lined up before Bill started adding stuff to the queue is from the Tobacco Truth blog by Brad Rodew. I don't call him Dr. Rodu. I just call him Brad. Anyway,
Okay.
E-cigarettes equal nicotine medicines equal prescription medicines equal cold turkey, all help smokers quit. So 36 co-authors, peer review, and they still got it wrong. Dr. John Pierce and 35 colleagues have published a study in the journal PLOS 1 analyzing data from FDA population assessment of tobacco and health surveys. That's the PATH surveys. Their work was touted in a University of California, San Diego press release titled "E-cigarettes don't help smokers quit, and they may become addicted to vaping." But their study actually proved that e-cigarettes are as helpful as medicines promoted by anti-tobacco crusaders. The study followed participants in all three waves of PATH 1 year apart, 2014, 2015, and 2016. I will describe how Pierce and colleagues conducted this complicated analysis. Pierce et al. Selected participants who were smoking every day when they enrolled in PATH Wave 1. They then selected those who had tried to quit smoking in the past 12 months between Waves 1 and 2, but who were still smoking daily. In other words, those daily smokers had tried but did not quit during the year between the first two waves. Daily smokers who had not tried to quit smoking were excluded. So they only they enrolled in Wave 1 9,021 people. So between Waves 1 and 2, they asked them, have you tried to quit in the last year? And 2,443 of them said, yes, I have tried, but I'm still smoking every day. Those were the people that they selected for the analysis of that information. So Pierce divided those 2,443 daily smokers who had failed to quit between waves 1 and 2 into three groups. Those who had tried stop smoking medicines, a prescription or over-the-counter medicine. There were 442 of those who had tried. Those that had tried vaping, there were 566, 116 of whom had also used stop smoking medicines. So the people that had tried vaping, there were 566 of those, and those that had used neither and had tried to go cold turkey, and there were 1,435 of those.
Ouch.
So after the three groups of smokers had failed between 1 and 2, Pierce then compared them at Wave 3 1 year after Wave 2 with respect to the three outcomes for abstinence of smoking for 12 plus months, abstinence for cigarettes for 30 plus days, and abstinent from all tobacco. The researchers found that the first two outcomes for all groups were similar. 12-month cigarette abstinence was about 10% and comparable across all methods used to quit. There was no net risk or difference in the 30-plus day cigarette abstinence at Wave 3 between e-cigarette group and whether the no e-cigarette control. So basically saying that there was no difference in all three. They were pretty much equal.
I can't see that, though.
What, by these numbers? Or just in general?
I don't think the numbers are right in this. To tell you
Well,
the
he's
truth,
showing.
because
So Brad is showing you how they analyze their numbers, basically saying that even though the pool size was different for each different version, the percentages of people that were successful were about the same. So he's not saying that more people quit using cold turkey or less people. He was going by percentages of the whole because the numbers are not equal. The groups are not equal.
all right.
So the percentages are about the same, that nicotine medicines and e-cigarettes and prescription medicines and cold turkey all ended up at about the same, about 10% of this PATH study data. They didn't conduct the PATH study. They just took the data that was in the PATH study and compared the numbers.
But we're still seeing higher levels of people giving away combustibles, moving into vaping, and then completely getting rid of vaping as well.
But they weren't in the PATH study.
Yeah, but
So the thing is they can only use the data that's provided to them. And obviously the enrollees based on geography, so forth and so on. Yolanda, this is from the wave 1 was 2014, wave 2 was 2015, and wave 3 was 2016. So in 2016, I can guarantee you the number of people in the United States that tried vaping was the highest that beat all previous years. From 2016 to now, the numbers have declined.
yeah, correct, Bill. You're right. There's, whether it was a disposable pod.
No, they don't go into any of that detail. In the PATH probably doesn't even go into. It's probably not even in any. I mean, the questionnaires for PATH are not designed by people that understand the technology very well anyway. So these are probably first generation products, 2014, 2015, 2016. So they're referring to wave 1 and 2 was 2014, 2015. And that's where they pulled their cohort from, was 2014, 2015. So they were probably first generation or even early second generation products.
Well, 2015 was second and third generation. 2013, 2014 was first generation, or
these are probably like
first generation.
variable. These are probably variable voltage ego devices.
Okay. Yep.
Is the grumpy old broad in the chat room tonight?
Skip.
I haven't seen Skip.
No.
I didn't see Skip in there. She posted a picture this week of the first vaping device that she used, which was an Anakin. I don't even remember what it's called, but I have one new in box, still wrapped in plastic, in my Apocalypse cabinet. I was going to send it to her if she wanted it. I was actually going through the Apocalypse cabinet, and no, Kevin's not even in the chat. He had a family emergency.
That's not the grumpy old broad.
Who?
Oh,
Skip is the grumpy old.
Yeah,
broad.
I know. Bill's trying to rev Kevin up.
Oh, is that what it is? I didn't know if somebody earlier had asked if Kevin was here. Kevin had a family emergency and Kevin could not come and play. And I had talked to Fig, and Fig already, like, I wanted to get through all the news pieces, before we brought Fig in to shoot the shit. And he already said that he went to bed, so we missed out on.
Figgy's got to be up early these days,
right? I like to, I like to plot out the shows more, and having Fig is an X factor. If we bring Fig in, we'll never finish all the shit that we want to do. So I told him I would have him on after we got through all the shit, and he went to bed. Because we didn't have a guest tonight. I have a bunch of people all on the hook, but nobody was available tonight. And then Kevin canceled. So we still got everything done. We talked about all the shitty news pieces, and it was an iStick. That's what it was. It was an iStick, and it was like a square. It was basically a square ego, variable voltage ego.
Yeah.
And I have one wrapped in plastic over here. I have a VTR wrapped in plastic over here. And maybe if somebody from Anakin is listening to me, I really want. No, I don't need any more content, Bill. I said to Demetrius the other day, because I had snapped a picture of the limited edition Aries 2 on this black device, and he's like, "Oh, that's sexy as hell." I was like, "Yeah, too bad Anakin doesn't have a side by side like this. I love this form factor." And I said, all they need to do is take the VTR go into engineering and update the design of the VTR for today, and we would have a fucking winner. And I'm sure, there are plenty of people that would love to have something like this with Inikin's logo on it. And I mean, really, fucking VTR was the first side-by-side that was commercially available on the fucking market.
Yeah, correct.
And he said he's been talking to Inikin, but he brought that up to them. He said, and they still haven't jumped on it. But I'm telling you, you already have a design. All you gotta do is update it, downsize it a little bit to what's available electronics now. That thing was amazing. I fucking used the VTR forever. The only downside was that fucking they had a retaining ring around the tank right here that would only hold smaller atomizers, 18 millimeter atomizers.
18, 20. It wouldn't go
None
to
of
22.
Yeah, I had a what was it? Oh, it would fit the Aspire Mini would fit in it. The Nautilus Mini would fit in it.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, very few things fit in it. I love that device, and they need to listen because otherwise, Aspire's going to keep. I'm going to keep buying Aspire mixes because I love this. This is pretty cool, even though the Inikin tank is awesome. And Bill says he wants the Darth Vader dildo updated too. The I Taste 134.
Here we go. Yeah, we're asking for
Actually,
toys to be rebuilt.
Actually, well, I mean, come on. I've never asked as an influencer. I'm not a fucking influencer, by the way, but I've never asked to abuse my power. And this is my one thing is Inikin needs to step up and redesign the VTR for a new day. So anyway, Paul, we went through all the news. Well, is there anything fun you want to talk about? What happens? It's either today or tomorrow. I don't know if you're aware of this. The Mandalorian season 2.
Yep, I've already seen the first episode.
Starts either today or tomorrow. I haven't even.
I've already seen the first episode.
I gotta watch it.
Oh,
I gotta watch it,
dude.
I'm excited,
dude.
I binge watched season 1 the other day, from episode 1 to episode end.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the episode lengths are not really long, so you can actually binge the entire season in an afternoon.
Yeah, I know, but
so I'm psyched.
The new season of Mandalorian. Oh man.
Well, Bill's already apparently watching it as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I worked today. I have a fucking job.
I've seen it. I've seen episode 1 of season 2. Yes. It's fucking badass.
I'm gonna watch it. I might watch it tonight before I go to bed.
It is fucking badass, Bill. What do you reckon?
So, Paul messages me all the time and says, "Hey, not all the time, but sometimes, hey, you got time for a a Zoom?" And I was like, "Sure, yeah, whatever." So every time the Zoom room launches, I'm sitting here like this because there's a TV right here, and I have a footrest. And he's like, "What are you fucking doing?" And blah blah blah. And I'm like, "I'm watching TV, dude. It's just I get to, I have the man cave all perfect, I got my mixing station over there. I can mix stuff. I got my monitors up on swing arms now, so I'm all super cool looking. My wife said, "What are you doing?" I'm drilling a hole in the desk here to mount this fucking monitor stand. And I'm like, "I'm drilling a hole so I can, do this and clean my desk up." And she's like, "Oh, as long as it's clean, that's all I care about."
Oh, seriously?
She fucking hates my office. She thinks my office is messy just because I have stuff in it.
Right.
I mean, it's not messy. It's just that there's a lot of stuff in here. I have three giant bookshelves full of books over here, and obviously there's so many books that they're double stacked, and you can't really see all of them. You have to know where everything is at, So I know where books are in what pile. I have a whole section of Japanese science fiction over here, and the epic fantasies there, and the geeky stuff. This is all geeky stuff. If you're not interested in geeky stuff, I'm boring you, but it's all there.
We're all interested in geeky stuff.
No, there's some people in the chat room that don't like geeky stuff. I know that Bill's a fucking nerd, and I'm a nerd, and you're a nerd, but not everybody in here is a nerd. But
I'd say a lot of us actually are. So
well, there might be some. James Jarvis was in the chat room earlier. I don't know if he's still here because he hasn't spoken for a while. He asked you if that beer you were drinking was Foster's, and you said no, and you showed him what it was. So I think that was the last time James Jarvis spoke. But
he's gone to bed, or he's gone back drinking beer.
He's probably crying because he's a big crybaby. Anytime somebody says something to him, he gets all emotional. I love him, but he does do that.
Yeah.
Yes, Bill. I don't read Japanese, so I have to buy the American or the English translations. There's a 10-book series, and it's got an awful name. It's like Legends of the Galactic Superheroes or something like that. That's a really awesome anime. Like, it's epic. It's like Game of Thrones level sci-fi, and it's written by some Japanese guy in like the 1960s, and it's a 10-volume series that's following the intrigues of these galactic empires and the battles that they fight, where they have like 50,000 starships fighting each other and shit, and there's military maneuvers and things going on. That's the next one I'm going to read. All 10 volumes.
I need to take this call 1 sec.
Up. He's talking to his girlfriend. Amanda claims that she's a nerd. So I'll believe that when I see it. Yolanda is very smart. But I don't know that she's a fucking nerd. She might just be playing like she's a nerd to be cool. But I'll show you right here on my desk. This is how nerdy I am. Some of y'all may not understand the relevance of this, but this is a screenplay of I, Robot, which is an Isaac Asimov novel that was actually developed by Harlan Ellison, who's another legend of pulp sci-fi. And on page 1, it's autographed by Harlan Ellison. So this is one of my very most prized possessions. This is awesome. And they never made this. This would have been a great film. And instead they made a crappy, well, I shouldn't say crappy. I, Robot, the film by, what's his name? Will Smith, is not an awful movie. It's just an awful version of I, Robot. Yes. I mean, it is Halloween, so we should do some sort of geeky thing for Halloween, since we should do like either a horror film show or Bill says a robot thing, but that's not really Halloween. That's more, there's no sci-fi holiday. But Paul, you missed it. I don't know if you're still on the phone.
No.
So while you were away, I one of the good things since I cleaned my desk off was I was able to I had some overrun for space on my desk, and I actually brought this out. So this is
Asimov.
Well, this is a screenplay for a film of iRobot, using Asimov's iRobot novel as the basis, but it was written by Harlan Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed everybody, and on page 1, it's autographed by Harlan Ellison.
Oh, what?
Harlan Ellison is one of my most favorite authors. He's also a dick. like he is outspoken and critical, and he's not afraid to hurt people's feelings, which fits my brand perfectly. There's a really awesome documentary on Amazon right now. That's a Harlan Ellison documentary about his life and his career and stuff. He wrote some of the greatest scripts and screenplays for Twilight Zone, as well as the best Star Trek episode ever. I don't care what Bill says. City at the Edge of Forever, which is probably, well, I mean, they won an Emmy. Star Trek won a fucking Emmy based on an amazing screenplay. And the funny thing is they didn't even use, they fucked his screenplay up, and they still won an Emmy, and he still won an Emmy for it. But the actual full version of his script is available on Amazon as an illustrated novel. It's pretty awesome. So Bill is suggesting a Korean horror film called The Closet. I think Paul's quite familiar with Living in the Closet.
Oh, here we go. Right, you'll pay for that. You'll pay for that.
Just saying. Oh, you're mad because I let your secret out, or what? Obviously, there's a lot of Korean horror films that are out that are awesome now. The Train to Busan is a really awesome zombie flick. If you're into zombie flicks, it's on Netflix, I believe, right now, so you could watch that. We should do, like I said, since we can't do the Geek Show because Phil wants to wait until there's new stuff to talk about, because there's still not all the new shows aren't out because of the pandemic, and we haven't done a Geek Show. We should do a Geek Show at some point in the near future. And we'll pick things that he doesn't like, because he specifically only likes like old-fashioned sci-fi. And then I told him to watch The Expanse, and now he's addicted to The Expanse, which is coming out soon.
The Expanse is brilliant.
Oh yeah, and the books are amazing. I mean, we're off of our normal topic now, but that's fine. No. The Expanse is starting in December.
When? Oh, really?
December. Yeah. So what they're doing, and I like the way that some of these shows are doing this now. Instead of dumping all of the episodes all at once, they're dumping like 3 or 4 episodes in one chunk at the beginning, and then releasing a new episode every week after that.
Okay.
So that it spreads out your enjoyment. It does really annoy the fuck out of people like me that binge watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it'll stretch out the anticipation, and that'll give you think about it though. If a show dumps all of its episodes, if they're doing 12 episodes and they dump all 12 of them at once, people are going to binge watch them, and then it's done, right? Where if they dump a chunk and then they jump one episode or drop one episode a week after that, that gives buzz. That gives time for it to get buzzy, and people will pick it up and watch it.
Well, it's like the series that I picked up on was called Next, about AI.
Oh, I watched all the episodes that were on Hulu already. That is considering I have a fucking Alexa in like every room in my house now. That's fucking creepy as shit. You watch that show.
That's what I thought. I went, ooh, hang on a second.
I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but if you have like a home assistant, like a Google, whatever the Google Home is called or whatever, or the Alexa, or the what are they called, the Amazon Dot or Amazon View or Amazon, because I have the TV one in my office now. It connects to my TV, and I can control the TV with my voice. But the problem is my wife can turn my TV on or off from the bedroom now. It just came on,
giving you answers.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're like all about like the fear of tech, if you're worried about Skynet, Next is like feeding into that same fear of of AI taking over the world. And it's
what's your take on the show so far?
I like it. I like it.
It's weird as fuck, but yeah.
You know, and I was talking to you the other day, and I was telling you that I had just started watching, and it's a CBS show that was on CBS's All Access or whatever it's called, but they put it on Netflix. Season 1 is now on Netflix. Season 2 is coming out or is already out or is, you know, somewhere, but it's called Evil. And it's pretty cool because like the three main characters, there's like a guy that's like trying to be a priest. He's studying to be a priest. He has like 2 years under his belt, and he's working with the Catholic Church to research. They send him to go look at people that may be possessed and need an exorcist, but they send him first to investigate, and they also investigate miracles. And the thing is they have him, who's a believer, then they have a psychologist that's a skeptic, and then a tech guy who is also a skeptic, and they go around. But the priest, the guy that wants to be a priest, he drops MDMA and does all sorts of other stuff so that he can see God. So he's not perfect either, which is really funny, but he wants to have visions, so he drops acid or he drinks some shrooms or whatever so he can have visions. It's pretty cool. I don't want to ruin it, but yeah, if you haven't watched it, you should watch the first couple episodes because there's this really cool thing that happens to the one character while she's sleeping at night. It's called Evil, Yolanda. Just plain old Evil. And it's on Netflix America, so I'm assuming it might be on Netflix in other parts of the world as well.
No, you have to change the region. Here in Australia and New Zealand.
That's why I said might. Because I know that programs that are on CBS Access are all Access here that you can only watch on, like Star Trek is on it's on Netflix in Europe or Amazon in Europe, but it's not here.
Yeah, I've been watching Discovery again as well. The new season of Discovery. That's another one that I've been.
Yeah, it's dropping. On. It's either dropping or has already dropped here.
I watched the first 3 episodes.
I'm waiting for The Stand.
Yep.
To come on. When The Stand comes on that app, I'll pay for 1 month just so I can watch.
Yeah, Bill's got the right idea. You VPN it out of Japan or whatever region you're looking at.
Yeah. Because he watches a lot of Japanese stuff, so
yeah,
he's always throwing stuff. He sent me a link the other day. He sent me. I watch a ton of anime. He sent me a link to like a thing on YouTube that's like a whole bunch of trailers coming in 2021, and like he's all about the kaiju and Godzilla and things like that. So there's a preview for the King Kong versus Godzilla film.
That'll be that.
And
that could be interesting.
That could be awesome, or it could
be really fucked up.
Suck
really fucked
balls.
Up.
So yeah, it's the sequel to Kong Skull Island and Godzilla King of the Monsters, right? Yeah. So that one looks. I mean, I like giant monster shit too, so that one will be cool. I'm not nearly as big into it as he is, but I can get off on watching Godzilla movies. It's pretty awesome.
You could actually call Bill Godzilla. The Canadian version of Godzilla.
He's not 30 stories tall.
He's pretty tall.
I know he's tall. I know and the thing about Bill is when you look at him on screen, you can't really tell how tall he is. But then when you see a picture of him standing at full height next to somebody else, you're like, fuck, he's big.
Yeah. Big motherfucker. What the?
So, what?
Now they're trying to fuck with my Facebook as well. There is a way to actually switch it back.
Yeah, I don't want to go all that bullshit, but yeah, it really annoys the hell out of me that they took off the classic view so that you can't do classic view anymore. Because I really despise the way this fucking looks. There's way too much dead space.
Well, you can do it. Go to 1 billion vapors, and over in the left-hand panel, you can switch it back.
Not on my computer. Well, Yolanda Preacher. Well, you can't see it over here, but I have all 6 volumes of Preacher, the comic book, on my bookshelf. Right there, and you can't see it. Preacher was an amazing. I think he's like 6'7", 6'6". Bill.
Here we go.
I could be exaggerating that, but I believe that's what he told me. He's pretty fucking tall. I'm 6 foot tall, and yeah, I think he's taller than me for sure. And I think he wears like a size 88 shoe or something like that. See, I said 6'6". I was perfectly correct. Yeah, we've gone off the rails here, guys.
Who cares? Rails are only fun when you're driving in a straight direction.
We're at the 3-hour mark. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the outro. Well, actually, Paul, do you have any final words?
Only thing I can say is, please, anyone that has been following anything that's been going on here in Australia, please reach out to Legalize Vaping. Look for the link. I will throw the link into the chat for anyone that has not actually done a submission to the Australian government, to the Select Committee on Vaping, because we have had the nicotine ban put off indefinitely, or nicotine import ban. Second, we need to hear from businesses and people from around the world, but more from now the business side of it. If you want to give your vaping story, that's all well and good, but businesses now that would like to come and conduct business or try and help shape the framework here in Australia, that's what we really need. And please, don't listen to all the stupid shit that's in the media right now. Do your homework. Most of us know how to do the homework. And keep vaping.
Yeah, I mean, tonight's show, it wasn't chaos. I mean, I had a lot of different stuff to show you. And the whole purpose of doing that was to show you like simple ways to deconstruct and to analyze these pieces, and to show you how to think critically about it. I mean, obviously we had even the ones that Bill provided during the show had links out that you could find the relevant data, and you were given the ability to read that data and understand what they did wrong and how they took that information and purposefully steered the dialogue the direction they wanted it to go. I mean, obviously, talking about nichrome wire and how, it harmed rats' lungs is going to be different in humans. I mean, relative harm and it's the dose that's the poison. It's not. So, the two pieces about the youth epidemic being a false narrative. I mean, we had 2 different counties report that their vape numbers were down, their youth vape numbers are down, but we are still seeing that term, youth vaping epidemic, pretty constantly. We talked about a news piece, and Paul mentioned it. They're claiming that 8,000 kids a day are falling prey to nicotine addiction from vaping. And this is within the last few weeks. So, we didn't have a guest tonight. We still had some fun. We still showed you, a bunch of bullshit to prove that you are the most powerful tool that we have, especially when we have assholes all over the fucking world. Paul and I, Bill, none of us can go to every city in the world and argue against the liars. The people that are on the ground are going to have to do that. I mean, I don't think there's anybody in the chat room that this is going to offend. But, we had like I said earlier, we had a board member of Safada on the show last week. We've had board members of VTA on the show in the past. I love them, but at this point, I don't put any faith in the success of this whole thing if we rely on them completely and don't try to act ourselves. You don't have to do everything, but you have to do something. And one of the things that you can do is educate the people around you. If a smoker comes up to you while you're vaping and says, that's bad for you, you have the information, you have the tools and the knowledge to be able to correct that, to be able to explain to them why that is not true, to negate or try to argue against this whole argument that the Public Health England report was just written by a few people and they don't have any sources and they don't rely on any relevant data. That one piece that we showed on screen used the same paragraph. Well, this was done. They used data from 2014 and technology has changed, so that data is no longer valuable. They've updated it twice since 2014. And the conclusion is the same. So we have to be able to read this stuff and don't share it ever. Bill puts things on Vape Distortion, and I believe he's probably using a back door. I mean, we don't need to be allowing these people to have the clicks is basically what we need to do. There's ways to anonymize links so that they don't get counted. We need to do that because these people will continue to publish this bullshit if we continuously send people to click on their links. They don't care if they're reporting the truth as long as people click in, look at an ad while they're reading a paper. They get paid based on clicks. So let's not do that. But yeah, use the tools that we've given you. Learn how to follow the simple things. We did everything on screen so you could see how to follow the rabbit and to learn the truth. Because this is important. At this point, I'm of the mind that we are going to have to fight this battle ourselves. Whether there's two industry groups fighting with us or CASA is fighting with us, we can't rely on anybody to fight this for us anymore. We have to stand up for ourselves. If they happen to be in the foxhole next to us, we're going to fight with them. But I'm worried. I talked to J Love today, and he said I'm starting to be concerned about the PMT. I said I'm way past fucking concerned. This is worrisome. And if we don't do something, this could all go away pretty quickly, and very few people would give a shit other than us. So, not to end on a crappy note, but yeah, now is the time to hunker down. We've had the pirate flag flying for quite some time. We're going to do whatever we fucking have to do to help smokers. And you know what? I'm not afraid of breaking a fucking law to help somebody not die. Period. Exclamation point. That's it. Like, I am literally not going to watch people die when there's something I could have done, whether that means I have to break the law or not. And I hope more than one of the people in the chat room will agree with me, and other people across the globe will agree to me. Saving people's lives is way more important than being a good boy. But anyway, we're done. I love you guys. Thank everybody for listening and for joining in the conversation. We're going to be here every fucking week until, even after Doomsday, because we'll figure out a fucking way to continue to do this show, whether we have to do it, on a server in like Uganda. We're going to figure out a fucking way to do this. So yeah, I love you guys. Go and hug your kids, kiss them on top of the head, go and plant one on your significant other, stick some tongue down her throat or his throat or whatever it is that makes you happy. We have the weekend. So you know what? I got steaks. I'm going to barbecue some steaks. I might post a picture on Twitter. You never know. I might send Paul a private message with a picture of meat on the grill because he always gets mad when I do that. And love you. We'll be back on Monday to fight this battle. And the show will be back next Friday. And hopefully I'll have a guest lined up. Maybe, you know what? Here, I'll just do this now. Yolanda, do you want to come on the show next Friday? I'm sure she will. It'll be fun. I promise. But anyway, I'm serious, by the way. Love you. See ya. Stay out of trouble or get into some trouble and have some fun. And we'll be back. We'll be back in 7 days. Bye.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
We're exporting a whole lot of really bad and dangerous rhetoric, bad research, and unfortunately it's being picked up and amplified in other countries.
It's the same battle, Mr. Myers. We've been at it before. They want to addict these kids, this time to an e-cigarette, which has a chemical that's addictive. We know what it leads to. Sadly, it leads to tobacco addiction, disease, and death.
I'm going to get you addicted to nicotine. I have a customer for life. We have hundreds of cases nationwide where people have gotten sick or died using these devices.
Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes are poison.
They're not people giving up smoking. They're not people that ever smoked before. Most people that vape never smoked before. Just think if your kid was doing this and winds up with an IQ 10 or 15 points lower than he or she would have had for the rest of her life.
Most people who vape are current or former smokers. For the addicted adult smoker who switches, there's going to likely be a reduction in risk.
There's a tremendous push to bring about prohibition, to actually prohibit vaping. Whereas the evidence strongly suggests that actually, up to now, the most successful way of people stopping smoking cigarettes is vaping.
Yeah. When vaping increases, smoking decreases.
That's right.
When vaping is restricted, smoking increases.
We're worried that, in fact, a lot of members of the public still think that using an e-cigarette is as harmful as smoking a cigarette. So, I mean, I have said that it would be tragic if smokers didn't quit and carried on smoking because they hadn't tried an e-cigarette, because they were worried about the safety of an e-cigarette.
The most disheartening thing is still the anti-choice rhetoric, the desire to enforce this quit or die mentality and refuse to allow individuals to reduce their risk unless they're willing to give up everything.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.